Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing YouTube review for the
Hello,
Orks.
everyone, and welcome to
Because apparently I can hear myself. Hooray! Okay, I am Skari, your grateful host, and this is a full live review of the Orc Codex. Okay, so we're going to be talking to two amazing war bosses that I have with me here today, which are Pampreen and Kilton, who's fresh off of his stint at Charity Hammer, going all orky with everyone. Say hello, Mr. Richard Kilton. What's going on?
Hey guys, it's great to be with you. It's great to be with you, Skari. Yeah, had fun at Charity Hammer. A lot of fun.
That's fantastic. And of course, on the other corner, we've got Steve Pampreen. Steve Pampreen, Mr. Pampreen, who has been notoriously known to play with orcs at some point in his career. And he's now come back with the full war at his disposal. How are you?
Doing well. Oh, this is fun to get back into it. Although I do say I'm not fully in. I have to be fun. That's the deal I had to make with my wife in order to start up again. So
you
will
can't
not
be
seeing me at
super intense.
GTs
Oh,
yeah,
my
you won't be
goodness.
seeing me in GTs for the next at least probably a year.
Well,
You can go to a GT and just have fun.
It's more the time away and that stuff. So it has to be driving distance. So I can go to a GT, but
as long as it's
yeah,
close
you have
by.
to be within, probably about 2 hours of Maine. Then you'll see me.
I love it. And hello, everybody in chat and everybody watching at home. Thanks for tuning in. So for anybody who hasn't watched one of these video reviews, we tend to go through everything with people who know what they're talking about instead of just me rambling about what I think is good or not. So I like getting some faction experts on stream so that we can chat and discuss and you can tell me what's different and you can ask the right questions so the folks at home know more about the wonderful Orc Codex. Now, of course, if you didn't get a chance to get your hands on a Snagger box and you didn't snag one of those boxes, this is the video for you. I'm excited because I like orcs. The aesthetic of orcs and the way they play has always been appealing to me. And even though I play Dark Eldar, I feel like orcs are just fun.
Play Dark Eldar? I didn't know that.
Look at you. Always the joker, aren't you? Absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's dive in. But before we get started, what are your initial impressions on the new Orc Codex? Before we jump in, you've had a time to kind of read it over, go through it. What's your impression? Like, you like it? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
Go ahead, Steven.
You want me to go? Okay. The overall impression is that this is a stat codex now instead of a stratagem or rule codex. So the units you're gonna see as we'll go through them, practically any other codex out there, and I say this without knowing a ton about the other codexes, but just looking at how it's played out, any of the units practically in the book would look really good in another codex, and you'd be like, wow, that's strong. And then the Orc Codex, you're like, oh, but there's not many buffs you can put on them. There's not many force multipliers. There's no it's not that there's no synergy, but there's no rules synergy. There you can have a bunch of stuff that works together well, but it's not going to be working together well because it's a Ludabomb protected by Grots anymore. So that's sort of my holistic description of how the codex plays now. Is a lot of really good stats, but whatever you get see on the data sheet as the opponent, if you just look up the data sheet, that's it. Like, it's basically 95% of what you're going to see that game.
Nice. So it's a little bit less confusing for your opponent.
Yeah, I think long-term predictions, I think it's going to be a very gatekeeper codex. Because players that are getting into the game, they're just going to run armies at each other, and the Orc Codex will probably crush you. But if you know how to get a lot out of your army, you know your combos, you have a well-built list, you put a lot of thought in it, and it synergizes, you should be fine.
I love it. Okay, Mr. Kilton, how about you? You actually had a chance to play it in like high-level competitive play, and you got to stress test some really cool stuff this past weekend. By the way, Charity Hammer, over $38,000 raised out of $20,000 That was amazing. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I just love being a part of that. It was great. You folks out there did an amazing job, and but you got to test it against like some big slobber knockers. So I'm curious to
I
see what your thought is.
I did. I'll tell you, the list that I had to submit, I had not played a game with the new codex when I submitted my list. So that was very interesting. I love the internal balance of the codex. I think that they did a fabulous job of making every clan viable. And most of the units, I don't really see any units that I would say you're not going to play those ever.
Right.
I think that they did a great job with that. And I think that they did some things in this codex that I actually wish they would go back and do with some of the other codexes. There's some things that they did with stratagems, and you can't pick and choose the best stuff all the time with this codex like you can with some of the codexes that have been released lately, which I think creates good balance, but also lets you create some great relics and some great stratagems that are powerful, but you can't use them all.
I really like how they sort of like if you want the cool relic from this thing, your warlord needs to be from this thing. Like they were very clear, and I
Correct.
feel like with the latest codex, they've been very clear about who can take relics, who cannot. And we'll dive in. We'll show everybody like what we're talking about. Of course, Pampreen said grots are probably the one thing that are a little lackluster from what they were before.
I've got some in my list.
300 grots.
From someone who played only grots over here to like just not being able to have objective secured grots unless you make them the mean grots, and then they're like just mean grots.
Oh my god.
Don't even get me started on the mean grots. Okay, so let's dive into the rules. And also, everybody in chat, thanks for tuning in to the live show. This is really fun. We got lots of orc love in the chat, lots of wars going on. So everybody's excited about it. It's okay. Having to yell for your war, do you do that? Yes or no? As an orc player.
Of course.
Pampreen?
I'm lame. I don't do that very often.
I can't be embarrassed. I'm an old man. I'm a grandpa.
I gotta read my opponent on that. I'm a little more sensitive to it. No, most of the time I don't. Although I did go pretty hard at my first, and I think it's my only. It was my second team Adepticon. We did all orcs.
Yep.
And we had pirate themed.
Ooh.
And I'm really into sea shanties. And this was before it was cool. This was like 2016.
OG
and
sea shanties.
Our WOG was Roll the Old Chariot. And then we had a few other songs that happened with events, like when the war boss died, or when they called, it was fun. So
it's fun.
That was probably the most fluffy orc tournament I had. And I think teams is probably the most appropriate place. So we made a lot of noise there. But in general, in solos tournaments,
well, I guess it is
not as much. Rich is
I know one person, one orc player will war out loud, and every single orc player will war in like succession. It's just the green skin thing to do.
So Skari, when Mini Wargaming Dave from Mini Wargaming, when Chaos Dave comes around at LVO, he'll look for me and he'll go, "Okay, we're gonna do a WA," and we'll start a WA, and like you said, the whole room fills with WA, and it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's infectious, right? It's awesome. Okay, combat patrol box. Looks pretty cool. It's got some death copters, got a death dread, some orc boys, and like a big orc boss with like a mega armored boss, a couple of knobs in there. I think it's a decent box.
Oh,
I like it.
I
It's
haven't
cool.
looked at that.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. There's a couple of cool things. But let's go into the detachment abilities. So, detachment abilities, anything that has a clan, except for Gretchen, get the clan keyword. And anything that is a troop, except for Gretchen, get objective secured. So, pretty standard stuff. Then you have the specialist lads. So things that you can...
I'll actually stop right there. That's a pretty big change.
That is a big change.
That grots don't have clan anymore, especially if
well, they have
like
clan.
me,
They keep the clan thing. They just don't get the bonus for it.
Well, oh, they do. Okay,
clan. Yeah, they get the keyword.
Oh, okay,
They
so
just don't get the bonus.
That's okay. That's something I misread because I was thinking for my freebooters whether or not they would proc if like the grots killed something.
For freebooters, it does. It works for them.
Okay.
They still proc it.
Well, then I was wrong. That was part of the reason I was like, man, they hate grots.
No,
they're also core. They're also core. So I mean, there's stratagems and things you can play on them. Yeah. Well, you can advance in
consolidating 6 inches.
They have 2 attacks each when you call the Wa.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have objective secured or not.
I'm going to make this a grot review. We're not going to talk about anything else.
It's the Grevolution. The Grevolution. Although if
we'll let you go.
If you just take objective secured away from people, which is something you can do, then grots in mass become, pretty spicy. Gonna say. I like that. Yeah. No. Grots. You heard it here first, folks. Grot meta stamped by 2 of the biggest names in
If there was ever to be an actual grot meta, it would have been me figuring it out. And so the fact that I'm going, no, man, it's not. It's dead. Let it die.
Let it die. Okay, moving on.
All right,
sorry. In the detachment, you've got your specialist lads. So Gazgul, Badrak, Makari, Mad Dog Grotsnake, Zogrod, and the specialist mob units can be added into your clan detachments without the detachment losing its clan ability, basically. So they're like mercenaries like Incubi or Mandrakes, or other like mercenary stuff like the Flagellants in a Sororitas army as well. I kind of like that. It means you can kind of pick cool characters and stuff and kind of add them in if you want to like collect them or whatever, or maybe they add something to your list or not. I'm the boss. You can only have 1 Warboss or Death Killer War Trike in each detachment in your army. So you only have 1 big killy Warboss. I think that's something that's been happening in most books. Like, they started with they started with Tau, right? Like the Tau commanders, and then it was like, the command squads, right? In like Astra Militarum, and then it was like captains because of the Smash Captain thing, where you could take like 7 of them or something. It was kind of silly. So of course Warbosses had to pay the price. There can be only 1 big boss.
And I'm sure we get cheaper detachments like Dark Eldar, right?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, no.
No? Oh, dear. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't need to apologize for this. I was...
Just giving you crap, Skari. Just giving you crap.
Then, of course, you've got the name characters and kill rigs, the Warlord traits that they can have. And we'll get to the Warlord traits in a second. But, of course, if you're a name character, same thing. Okay, so let me get
this was an important bit of I think they did a good job here making this and kill rigs, because I didn't catch it the first time around, and I figured that the kill rig would turn into the most unkillable, obnoxious thing on the table. So the fact that they actually locked its Warlord trait, I was disappointed, but I was also like, yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. You've got they have to take the Beast Gub, which is what, like an extra attack or something?
Matter. Yeah.
Okay. extra damage for the beast creatures.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Whee! So no crazy armor on it or anything like that.
No, you can't put what is -1 to wound. That's the big one. T8 with -1 to wound. That's just get off my table. So can't do that, unfortunately.
Okay, moving on. So Orc clans. Orc clans. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main clans. And unlike other books, there's no like custom clan builder. Like there's no Build-A-Bear clan.
Correct.
Like, I guess it makes sense from a story perspective because the clans are the clans, you know what I mean?
Orcs are orcs.
Orcs are orcs. Like, they've got the clans, and you just, like, historically, you're one of the clans of orcs. However, I guess they tried to do something with the specialist mobs. I mean, like, there's mobs that, like, specialize into certain things. But I feel like, I don't know, personally, it would have been cool to have, like, Build-A-Bear clan stuff. Yes? No?
I think if they had given the specialists, let them keep their clan, it would have been only 1 unit per detachment. I don't think it would have been broken, but it would have upped the level, of the power of the codex if they had done that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And then you've got your
and that
clan.
kind of goes against the design philosophy that I feel like this is, which is everything is very straightforward.
Mhm.
So no funny business with, like you said, like picking your own clan detachment, stacking buffs,
It is
auras.
very
No,
simple. Like it seems very
it's
simplified. As much as like orcs are really random and crazy, it seems very like streamlined in a way.
yeah. I think this is a codex that you can, if you can know what movement you're supposed to do and you can do that quickly, I think you can play this army very fast.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess it's
Uh,
just how fast can you roll dice?
I'm gonna disagree a little bit, Steven. I think you can play it, but I think to become proficient, it's gonna take time, just like orcs always do. To become a good orc player, you're gonna have to put time into it.
oh no, I don't mean like skill level. I mean like getting done a 3-hour round.
Well, I struggled with time in my first couple games, but yeah, I think you're
With
right.
the remove of the exploding dice and stuff. I mean, goodness, I got clocked out in like half of the games that I started with the 8th codex.
Good
So
old DACA.
yeah, I mean, I still won more than I lost after getting clocked out. So they were strong, but it was a lot, and I feel like I remember the first time I had to roll the bikes or whatever, and it's, I got 40 shots, awesome, and then I was like, oh, nothing explodes. I just roll the hit and wounds, and I'm done. All right, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So
Well, that makes sense. So in terms of the cultures, you've got your cultures, you've got your clan warlord traits. So if each clan has an associated warlord trait, you can give a character one of the warlord traits if they can get one, right? And then the stratagems as well. If your army is led by an orc clan warlord, you can use that stratagem. So you can only use the specialist stratagem if you have a warlord from that clan in your army. You're not allowed to use that strat if your warlord is not from that clan, which I think also further simplifies it and stops the whole like taking a bunch of different clan detachments just to get the strats. I feel like they're trying to move away from that to be like, okay, focus on more of like your one clan or your one unit or army or whatever. Kind of like they did with Cult of Strife. Like you need Cult of Strife detachment, to take the strats or whatever, which is kind of the same sort of situation. And then the clan relics. If your warlord is of that clan, you can give that relic to one of your clan models, which means you can have like only one specialist relic in your army, and that can be only the one that your warlord is. So you kind of have to really pick who your warlord is going to be in terms of the detachment to have access to the strat and the relic. And you can't use any of the other ones. So that's interesting. And so I'm assuming it really depends on how you want to build your list. And from what I've seen, I feel like orcs are going to want to build like a utilitarian, like damage dealing detachment, and then like a sneaky, like get a bunch of points detachment. Like there'd be like two main detachments, and personally, I have a feeling that it's going to be freebooters and death skulls, or freebooters and like blood axes. But I guess it could be evil sons and something else or whatever. So I guess that's up to each person, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I mean,
So
I think I'll probably go full freebooters just because it gives me something to do. 'Cause since everything's so straightforward,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll focus on the freebooter proc. But I think that's going to be a pretty standard way, either that or all out damage.
Yeah, that does make sense. And of course, I'd love to hear what your favorites are as we go along. Thank you for the super chat, Rusted Glory Gaming. No problem. Thanks a lot, War, to you as well. Okay, so Goffs. No mucking about. Is their clan culture. Every time a model with this culture makes a melee attack, unmodified rolls of 6 score 1 additional hit. And I'm pretty sure orcs have a lot of attacks in close combat.
Yes, they do.
Usually, yes.
Okay. And each time a model with this culture makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move, heroically or heroically intervene, so not were charged, so they charge or heroically intervene, you add +1 to the strength of that attack. I think that's a pretty straightforward one. It's like we're just gonna roll buckets of dice in close combat at you. If we charge you,
Yeah.
we're gonna be better at hitting you.
I love this for Goffs. I think it's finally like a clan that at least if you're foot slogging and the foot slogging clan is finally the clan that you pick if you're trying to foot slog instead of evil sons. So
Yeah,
I think
it's
that's
really
a
good.
job.
It's really good, and I think if you were Goffs are best against other orcs. I think.
Yeah,
So like they're like they'll beat up other
I can
orcs
see
like in
that.
the mirror. You mean they'll just go in and
Yes.
like we're the
Yeah.
bosses. Gazgul is our boss and we're your bosses. We're the toughest.
Yep.
I like it. The warlord trait is proper killy. Add +1 to the warlord's attacks. Now, if there's something that's a theme, I feel like the heroes, like the warlords and the stuff like that, like they're pretty killy, and like you want them to do quite a bit of like targeted damage. They're like more of the damage dealers in close combat, from what I've seen or what I've read so far. But you can, correct me if I'm wrong. And every time this warlord makes a melee attack, the AP of its attacks are an additional +1.
They're also the lords are also much more durable than they've ever been with invulnerable saves and
Finally. You know how
and
many
lots of
times
cool warlord
my
traits.
Empress champion would run up to a warlord, a war boss, and be like, boop,
Yeah.
boop down the head.
Yeah, getting
bye bye,
invuls,
war boss.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and
So many
one
times.
of my 2 games, my opponent came up with 3 melta-guns, and I just made 3 5-ups and kept my guy alive. And I'm like, yeah, he would have just died. that would have been it. No rolling on my part needed.
That's awesome.
So just having invul has been huge, and I think I might disagree a little bit. And I'm curious what Rich's opinion is. I feel like the characters aren't necessarily the damage dealers, but they're so durable that you can actually just use them now. As the before, I feel like it was you had your killer class like suicide. You just went in,
killed
he fought,
one thing,
he died,
and died,
and then fought again. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And you're like, kill a knight. But you never expected him to hang around.
Right.
Now they'll hang around, but I don't think they're gonna kill as much as that guy would. I don't see any of the characters going in and picking up a knight.
Well, I guess they stick around for longer, so inadvertently they just do more damage by sticking around
Totally,
longer,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna. I feel like if you're used to 8th edition orcs, you're like, okay, where's that little guy with the freaking relic claw? That's. I don't think that's gonna be the case. It's gonna be okay. All of the characters are basically about as durable as the units around them, and they're basically as killy points wise as the units around them. So, I don't think it's better, and I don't think it's worse. It is just very different though. I'm so used to playing okay, the character can't leave at all, being safe, because he will immediately die. Now you can play a little bit more aggressive, with your characters, which makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah,
and you can build some crazy durable war bosses. You really can.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, well, I guess with
mind.
good armor, the invul save, we'll get to those when we get to like the relics and stuff. So we have unbridled carnage is the we'll just kind of fire through these. If anything you want to say, just kind of like jump in real quick.
Got it.
But we've got use a stratagem start of the fight phase, 2 CP for Goff core Goff character unit that has the trait, so not Gretchen. Until the end of the phase, every time model in that unit makes an attack, you score an additional hit on an unmodified 5 instead of a 6. So extra hits in close combat, even more super Tesla attacks. And then the Iron Gob Relic, Goff model only. After making close combat attacks, before you consolidate, select one enemy unit within 1 inch, roll a d6 on a 2+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. I don't like that it's before you consolidate, because a savvy opponent will just take the models away that are all within an inch, and that you won't do any damage. But you could use that to be like, well, if you don't take your sergeant off the unit, I'm gonna bite you. Like you can kind of make them take specific casualties that you want them to take or whatever, which could be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't think you're taking Goffs for that relic.
No.
The stratagem is great. The relic's not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the culture's great.
Yeah, the culture's great. The strat's really good, especially if you like buckets of dice. Yeah. And then we move on to our bad moons, which is the armed to Datif. You add 6 inches to the range of all Daka and heavy weapons, which I think is pretty cool. Each time a model with this culture makes a ranged attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 is AP +1. So a little bit different than it was before. I kind of like the extra range though, especially for Daka, because Daka gives you more shots. It's like a weird rapid fire. It's like an odd way.
Yeah.
We'll get to how that works.
I think if I was to talk about this, the main way I see it being used is on bikes. Since you can jump bikes now,
Sure.
you can. What that lets you do is then you can have your full amount of shots after jumping, which
DACA.
is
Yeah.
with DACA,
Which is a ridiculous.
you can
It's
do a lot of
10
damage.
shots. 10 shots per bike. Okay.
Yeah, Rich. 10,
That's so
not
silly.
5.
So silly. 10 shots per bike. Anyway, Warlord trait, the best armor Thief can buy. 4 up invulnerable save and +1 to your armor saving throw for the Warlord. So an invul save and +1 to armor. Pretty good. Not bad. We're talking about the durability of the Warbosses. Then we have showing off for 1 CP. A Bad Moon's core, Bad Moon's character unit from your army selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack with a DACA weapon, if you roll a 6 to hit, it's an additional hit. So shooting better with DACA weapons. Cool.
Yeah,
Seems pretty straightforward. It's like the opposite of the Goffs. It's like shooting instead of combat. Okay. And then the Super Thunderbus, the Gobshot Thunderbus. It's a 12-inch heavy 2d6 flamer, basically. Strength 5 -1, 1 damage.
Something
and don't
to
forget
point out.
that's a heavy, so that's
Yes.
that's 18-inch range.
Correct.
18-inch flamer.
18-inch
This flamer does
2d6
not-
strength 5 heavy flamer. A big blunderbuss.
That's a great orky weapon right there.
Yes, it is.
Really is.
That is hilarious. It literally, it's unconventional ammunition. Oh my goodness. It also fires a fortune in teeth every time, proclaiming its owner's obscene wealth. Amazing.
Their orcs are always fun.
Oh yeah. They then we have the Evil Sons. Now they were a very big one in like Death Skulls and then Evil Sons. They were pretty big in 8th edition, at least for a while. You know, because of the extra move, the advance, like the charging bonuses, like the jump and stuff.
Yeah. If you were playing Horde, this
Mhm.
was your clan.
So let's see how it changed. So red ones go faster. So they get +1 to the move characteristic of models with the culture. So they move at +1. And Speed Freak models add +2 instead, which is pretty cool. I like, was it the Death Killer Wartrike with this goes +2, so it moves like a minimum, 16 or something. And then with the Warlord trait, which we'll get to, with the Relic, which we'll get to, moves 18 inches or something crazy. Like he's just so fast.
That's one of the few combos that you can actually take a bunch of disparate things and slap it all on one model and go nuts. There's not many of those in the book, but that's one of them.
Yeah, I really like we'll get to the Relic. This is one of the better relics in the book, in my opinion. You add +1 to advance rolls made for the unit with this culture, so that's pretty cool. But not to charge anymore. And then you've got models with this culture don't suffer the penalty for moving and firing assault weapons or advancing and firing assault weapons. DACA weapons are not assault weapons, not heavy weapons. They're like in this weird limbo state.
Yeah, this is one of those where it stayed the same, but the rest of the rulebook changed around it, and now it's like, what? Like,
what assault weapons? What assault weapons do we have? Unless they mean assault.
Very few,
right?
It's like
very
flamers. You're like, cool. I guess I don't shoot my flamers now with penalty. What?
But they're flamers.
The speaking of the Death Killer Wartrike, I think that's one of the only like shooting assault weapons. There's a couple if I really thought about it, but that was the main.
I'm sure there are some. I think the Luda's gun is now assault.
No, it's DACA.
Oh, is it DACA? Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's DACA too.
Yeah,
they're all DACA.
Well, the orcs will tell us. They'll say, "Hey, see that? That's an assault weapon." It's like we have running memes every time we do one of these these reviews. The Drukhari book, it was all the relic pistols we got, which was hilarious because we had like 6 relic pistols, and and here what assault weapons? What is that? You mean move fast and shoot? No, we can't.
This will be one of those things that when it comes up in the game, you're gonna get excited. Oh, wait, I get to use my clan culture. Like it's gonna be one of those kind of things.
We had Tanya Gates in chat say the Rocket Truck Squig Buggy has assault weapons, or some assault, or whatever. The Rocket Truck has some assault stuff.
It does.
So,
I'd be pretty surprised if that thing was advancing around, but
Yeah, you never know. Hey,
There you go. That's
we
true.
were just proven
That's one
wrong.
of the better weapons.
There's certain situations where you do, because that thing's mean in combat.
Oh,
Yeah,
it fights. They fight. They really do fight.
Yeah.
It's one of the things about having a bunch of squigs on board. Apparently, you can let them loose
Correct.
when
Correct.
when something gets close. The Warlord trait, faster than use. In your command phase, you can select an Evil Sun's core unit within 6, and that unit can advance and charge, or fall back and charge, which I think is really handy. You can kind of send a unit of
Very
bikes.
useful.
Send a unit of bikes up the board, be like, go forth and be annoying.
Unit
I
of
didn't know
squig
it
hogs.
fell back. Actually, this is useful for me reading through. I thought it was just advance and charge because that's what you see it.
Yeah, no, and fall back.
It is
so that's
in the
really good.
command phase though, so I guess that's probably why it's usually going to be the advance, because otherwise you'd have to have a combat going on that your opponent started happening near.
Can't tie you up, right?
Boss.
Can't tie you up. You're like, you know what? Can't tie me up. I want to go this way and go charge
Yeah.
this thing. You know, like it's versatile. It gives you that versatility.
Right, but I mean, if the timing, if it was end of movement phase, I think that gets a lot better.
Well,
although a lot of these abilities are now tied to the command phase, so it makes sense. But just thinking about kind of the flow of the game on when you'd use this, it's mostly I feel like going to be planned ahead with the advance and charge.
Well, that's the thing with 9th edition.
Steven, that's why I moved it off the war boss and I put it on a knob on Smash a Squig. Because then his job is he just stay back and just shoot units forward.
Right.
So he's just sending out units.
No,
yeah, kind of like, okay, your turn. Go. Yep, that makes sense. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And then we've got Drive-By Daka, which is like a cool fire and fade. Basically, at the end of the shooting phase, select an Evil Sun Speed Freak unit. That unit can make a normal move as it was your movement phase, and it can't charge. So you basically, for 1 CP, you get one of your just Speed Freak units to move again. I think that is so good. That is so
amazing.
Powerful.
Here, Rich.
So powerful.
Amazing.
So what are our Speed Freak units, Rich? Can you name them?
The bikes, all the buggies.
I'm pretty sure Daka Jets would be Speed Freaks, right? Are they not Speed Freaks?
No.
So
is that
bikes.
All?
It's Koptas and the Deathkiller Wartrike.
The Wartrike.
That's.
Well, all the buggies are, aren't
everything.
They?
Yeah,
all
and the buggies. Yeah. The stuff you said, and then I'm saying in addition, I think it's just the Koptas and the Deathkiller Wartrike. This would be a good time for someone in chat to be quickly scrolling through their rulebook.
We'll get to it. We'll go through we'll keep a note of it. But then we have the Res Mecha's Redder Paint as the relic. Now this is an Evil Sun's model only, and it can be put on a vehicle. So you can put it on your Deathkiller Wartrike. You add +2 inches to the movement characteristic of the model. So on a Deathkiller Wartrike, it moves them to 18 inches just stock, or 20 inches stock, or something crazy, with just a move. And then at the start of the fight phase, if he's within engagement range of any enemy units, all enemy units in engagement range fight last. That, and his base is this big. It is massive.
Take that, Armor of Russ.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Because I'm a fun player, I do want to just read off the first sentence of why this relic works. Bad Mech Res Mecha formulated a type of paint so red that staring directly at it for too long caused actual retinal damage. It's so red, it's distracting everyone. Like, oh my, that's the reddest thing I've ever seen. I'm just imagining just Space Marines just gawking at the reddest paint. Like, I guess it's on the vehicle. I mean, I guess if you don't have red somewhere on the vehicle for this relic, I think that's one of the few cases of
somebody going to
not being WYSIWYG.
Yeah, somebody going to like the store and getting like a gloss Krylon or something, and just like spraying like a gloss, like bright gloss paint on their trike or whatever. Be like, look at the red paint in this guy. I love it. It's amazing.
That is a super useful.
Yeah,
I can see. I'm running an Evil Suns tomorrow in a major we're running out here. I'm going to be running Evil Suns as my primary.
Nice. And are you doing the 2 detachments as well?
Yeah, the second is Death Skulls.
Of course. You know, sneaky get over here knows
Yeah, you
his
called
shit.
it. You called it.
Yeah, buddy. Boom. Except for Pampreen, he's like, I'm gonna do only freebooters. Yeah, whatever.
Well, I spent most of 8th playing Death Skulls. Like, I
That's
spent the
great.
first half of it doing it. Everyone was all excited about Evil Sons. I was running, like 2 battalions and a brigade of nonsense all Death Skulls. That was so fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So
I like
that's
it.
just
Let's
one
just
of the
move on.
better fluff relics.
Yeah, it's good. I
but-
love it. That was a good interjection there. But yeah, Evil Sons definitely worth the Warlord trait. Definitely worth the relic.
Yeah.
Definitely worth the. So that's like one clan where like everything that you get for your Warlord is worth it. So you can definitely build around that, right? Which is really really useful.
yeah, we'll have to rate the clans when we get to the end.
Yeah,
Rich.
we'll do the S tier or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Snake bites. Snake bites. The old ways. We've got the old ways is literally look at that. It's literally the name of the culture. Every time an attack is made with a unit against this culture, if it's less than strength 8, it's transhuman physiology. You can only wound them on 4+. So really useful against multi-lasers, since orcs are T5 mainly now.
Yeah.
You know, I guess
autocannons.
with your buggies, it'll help your buggies not get wounded by what autocannons, because or things like that.
Man.
You know?
Ramshackle plus this on a buggy and poor autocannons. Like, man, I'm having the worst day of my life. Oh my god, these things won't die.
If only we had that in Dona War, that would have been great. Every time a squig model with this culture makes a melee attack, if it charged or performed a heroic invention, you add +1 to wound for squigs. So squigs get +1 to wound.
Oh,
Seems pretty good.
Strong.
Okay.
Yeah, that's.
I guess if you're running like a bunch of squigs.
Yeah, this has been good. This was a great change, I think, from the 8th Codex, and Snakebites had
the worst.
Silliest. It was laughable. You're like, okay, can I just do the exact same thing with a 48-point pain boy? And they're like, yeah,
yeah, makes sense. The Warlord trait.
So this is good.
The Warlord trait as surly as a squigoth. First time the Warlord is destroyed, you can, on a 4+ get him back up with D3 wounds remaining. So come back to life with D3 wounds. Okay, on a 4+. So it's like a cool, okay. It's not like the one I would write home about, especially since it's on a 4+.
Have you played with these, Rich?
I've not played with snake bites.
Okay.
Mystic chanting for 1 CP. You can have one of your units deny a psychic power as if it were a psyker. So it's not like a special deny like a 4-up, like the Sisters of Black Templars or Khorne. It's just they can deny a power with a psyker. I'll tell you right now, 1 deny with like Thousand Sons and Grey Knights coming out is like pitiful. Personally, I'm just even if it's only 1 CP. And then we've got Brog's Buzzbomb. It's a once per game weapon. Once per game weapon. It's a 3d6 6-inch grenade that hits on 2s. Strength 5. So it's a hit on 2s grenade heavy flamer. And then every unit within 6 inches of the target takes a mortal wound. Once per game.
And that's not so. My favorite part about that is you must then wound the guy throwing the grenade. Because it's 6-inch range weapon and it doesn't say enemy units, so you're starting with yourself.
He's throwing a bunch of bees at you, big bees, big squig bees.
I could totally see in serious competitive lists having a detachment of snake bites. It's just like a knob on a squig and like 3 squig units and running around with this relic. I could see it mixed in with a certain. I think people are going to go a lot of fast attacks, so maybe not. But I like it. I think
you like the relic. You like the buzz bomb.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, I think if you're there's a way you could build for it. Let's just put it that way. Because
especially if you want to take especially if you want to take the special character who is very good.
He's
Mozrog.
He's a monster.
Yeah.
Speaking of durable characters, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we'll get to him when we go through that. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the Death Skulls. That late 8th edition, early 9th edition are essentially like the clan that you took all the time. With reroll a hit, reroll a wound, reroll damage, 6 up invulnerable save on everything. They were like, and then obsec on like all the infantry. So it was like the clan to take. So let's see how they've changed that. So Lucky Blue Gits is their culture. They every time you can shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or a wound roll. So they've toned that down like most of those rules that they've been toning down in 9th edition. A good thing. Every time a model with this culture would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound on a 5+, they do not lose that mortal wound. Which, by the way, in the current meta is incredibly strong. With this coming up, like Thousand Suns, Grey Knights. There's so much stuff that does mortal wounds nowadays. I feel like that's going to be really good.
Remembering that is going to be hard.
Yes. As a Black Templar player, I tend to not forget that because I need it. And then infantry units with this culture gain objective secured ability, right? So all characters that are infantry, all like commandos and jump guy,
Storm
like
boys.
storm boys. So they're the ones that are gonna go around and hold objectives and do your actions and like your characters on objectives and stuff. And I think that just makes it still really strong as a culture.
I appreciate
Agreed.
everyone that flipped through the entire codex to find assault weapons.
Yeah,
So
they're like the
it looks
Burner
like
is assault, the custom mega blast, the teleporter blast assault, the war trike, the whirly tower is assault.
Yeah.
Mega knobs,
Which,
yeah.
again,
Tanya
auto
says
hits.
mega knobs. They're obsec.
Yeah.
Mega knobs become obsec. Yeah, of course. It's like
I actually played with a unit of mega knobs. I haven't played with them yet, but I played with them in 8th, when Death Skulls was definitely a lot less popular. Because it was good to just put them on an objective and be like, no, this is mine.
This is mine.
So I imagine it's going to be even more important now with all this progressive.
I like it. Opportunist Warlord trait. Every time you select a target for this Warlord, you can pick a character within 12 and ignore Lookout Sir. Meh. Most stuff has bodyguard rule nowadays, which means you're not going to target any characters ever.
Not most stuff has bodyguard. There's some bodyguard, but there's a lot of character sniping abilities in this codex.
So so if you, because it's your character, he has to be within 12. I'm assuming unless you take like a Death Killer War Trike or something like that, what it has enough shooting as a character to like really take advantage of something like this.
Shock attack gun.
Oh, okay. So you can like
so this is
the
where
teleporter. This is the
nerfs.
teleport, like the jump a shock attack gun and like nuke
or
a character.
ride in a truck. In a truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of those cases where the rule stayed the same functionally. It went from 18 and 12, which that hurts, but it's not like a huge thing.
I remember you used to do that in Pampreen all the time. The little teleporting.
Oh my God.
You used to. Now that I remember, you used to snipe everybody's characters with that little trick. I remember that. I remember
my God.
now.
Yeah, before they so at the beginning, I'll pat myself on the back here. At the beginning of the rule book, there's a little bit that says you basically the stratagem says as if it's a phase, you can't still use another stratagem.
Yeah.
So before that was an FAQ in 8th. That was the reason that became one, because at Adepticon, I dejumped, like you said, dejumped a guy, shot 2 characters, and then my opponent smited the closest thing, which was now my gun, and so I just double shot Daka and killed 2 more characters, and he no longer had a way to advance an assault, and he had no more psychers, and he just resigned. And we were like 30 minutes into the game. So so that's a case of, because that unit doesn't exist anymore, I think this gets a lot worse. I think the I don't know if the custom Shuda relic mech, I think, is now the next most useful way to do this, because it shoots a bunch and now it has a blow skill of 4+. So there's still a way to, if you really want to if you want to build towards, I'm going to murder all your characters and that's how my armies is going to win.
I think into AdMech, for example, this would be really useful. Like, especially with that like meta stuff, because AdMech relies on their like little dudes behind the big blobs giving all these buffs out. So if you could get these guys in there and like snipe those Yeah. Like they only have
It's
4
so-
wounds or 5 wounds. Like they're not the toughest
Yeah.
characters, and
Well,
that
this
is
is 2
one
damage.
codex that does not have bodyguard, and you really want to
Yeah.
kill those characters.
You can't to jump though. That's the big thing because you
Right.
need it
And
on
to
a
jump characters.
Yeah,
Mhm. So it'd be
you
in a
can't
truck
jump
or something.
characters.
Okay.
So
So
it has to
every
be on a truck. Yeah.
yeah, so just jump out and kind of do that. Every time an enemy vehicle is destroyed within 6 as well, you gain a command point.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool little extra bonus. Plus the
Yeah.
warlord traits, it's cool because the warlord traits from the clans are you can give them to any character. It's
Yep.
the relics and the strat that are locked into your warlord. So this is something you could take for a secondary detachment if you really wanted to.
I need to read carefully. I don't know if
I don't think they're
relic-
locked.
I don't know if the relic is locked on the.
Yeah, so clan relics. Every clan has associated clan relic. If your army is led by a orc clan warlord, you can select this relic instead of those on page 68.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to go to the warlord.
No, it doesn't have to go, but if your army is led by a clan warlord, then you can select this
Right.
relic. Yes.
Right.
So it doesn't have to
Okay,
be on
yeah.
the warlord, but you can only take the relic if your warlord is
Correct.
from that clan. Is
Correct.
what I was saying. Yeah. Cool. Then you have
I'm reading the
Rekkas.
stratagem, but yeah.
The Rekkas is the strat. This stratagem at the start of your shooting or fight phase, select a Death Skull core or character unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets a vehicle, you get +1 to wound. So +1 to wound for 2 CP against vehicles. It's cool, like if you have some shooting or need to kill a dreadnought or something. Yeah, cool. Get +1 to wound. I think that's pretty handy in the right situation.
We just have so much stuff that murders vehicles already, though. It's kind of a
Redundant.
abundance of. Yeah, it's.
It's just good
I don't
to
know, what
keep
do
in
you
your back
think about that,
pocket.
Rich?
So, I mean, I that's not why I'm taking Death Skulls. And I do feel in my list I would like some more stuff to kill vehicles, but I don't find it very useful because I don't see me ever taking Death Skulls as my primary faction, so I won't be able to use that stratagem.
Yeah, like your big units of Death Skulls are not exactly like you can't, and you need the Warlord there to take it anyway.
You have to have a Death Skull
Yeah.
Warlord to
Yeah.
use that stratagem.
Yeah, and so if you're doing that and you have a Death Skull Warlord, you're probably kitting into an army that is gonna be fine against vehicles. Like you're already
Right.
most of the way there. So
That's right.
it's kind of
Yeah.
I
Okay.
could see it being useful if you had another army that wasn't mostly Death Skulls. So
Makes sense. Then we've got the Defixer Uppers Relic. So Death Skull's mech or Big Mech. Every time it uses its Mechaniac or Mechanic ability roll on a 2+, the vehicle gains an additional wound that you were healing, and you can select an enemy vehicle within 12 to take D3 mortal wounds. So you fix your vehicle and hurt an enemy vehicle. Okay, moving on. Super fun. If you want to do that, then let us know how that would work for you.
it'd be nice if you could pick your own vehicle if you wanted to try to get out of combat with murdering yourself.
That would
Those
be
abilities.
hilarious. Press the red button. Remember that back in the looted
Yeah,
vehicle days?
Those
red
abilities
button.
are really strong. Like
Yeah.
keeping an eye out in your codex for ways you can hurt yourself is, and this is
It's
how
always
this
good.
works. Yeah.
Blood axes. Okay, so blood axes are
Alright.
of course like your little commando-y things. So cool. I think they're great for another secondary detachment, like for shenanigans. Personally, I think you're either gonna do Freebooters or Evil Sons as the primaries, and then you're either gonna do Death Skulls or Blood Axes for the secondary more often than not, like in a competitive list. Then again, everything is quite good in this book and is pretty much as you
Yeah.
read it. So if you're just playing for like pickup games, right? You can literally pick anything out of this book, and it's really cool. And it's gonna be fun, and you're gonna roll lots of dice
Yeah.
and be really orky. So, go to let us know what your favorite combos are that you found in the comments or in the chat.
There's most of the lists. I feel like you could literally just wholesale be like, I'm gonna make it this clan, and the army would still work like just basically the same. There's a
Kinda
few that
change a
might
little bit.
rely on a strat like the Evil Sons, like Fire and Fade and stuff, but for the most
Yep.
part, it's like, all right, well now they're a little tougher instead of a little faster, kind of
Makes
thing.
sense.
Yep.
So blood axes, culture, tactics. Each time a ranged attack is made against a unit with this culture, if they're more than 18 inches away, you count as having light cover. Cool. So we've seen sort of that stuff before. There's +1 save out of 18 inches.
Really useful on vehicles.
Yep, especially long range, like longer range vehicles that are sitting back and shooting. Right, goes from usually like a 4-up save to like a 3-up save, or 3-up save to a 2-up save. So that can be really handy. Units with this culture are eligible to shoot or charge, but not both, in a turn in which they fell back. Now that's quite handy. I feel like that's something, especially with buggies and things like that. Like if you have like a screen, that gets tagged, you can fall back and still shoot or charge and still be useful. I think it really helps with like playing the game tactically. And I think that like not having to spend CP to do that sort of thing or have a Warlord trait nearby, it means that you're not be able to pin them down or stop them from shooting at what they want and things like that, like you normally could, for example.
Yeah, this is one of those that I struggle with because, and Rich, I think you can back me up on this. This was not a good clan in 8th, and it's the identical, like it's the same traits. Because basically, if your units were getting tagged, it's because you played bad. Like you just screwed up. You didn't screen properly or something. So why would I take a detachment that relies on being useful because I screw up? So I'd have to get a lot more games to really come around on this one. Because otherwise, I just think, well, screen better. That's like most of the use you're gonna get out of this. What do you think, Rich?
I think because of the -1, because of the light cover, I think that this actually got a little better than it was. Because you're going to see a lot more shooting from units that are mobile and can stay back. Instead of just having a line of mech guns, you're going to actually see some of the vehicles that will benefit from because they have better armor, they're going to benefit from the light cover.
Right.
I'm still not a big fan of it personally, but I can see it being viable for some people.
The Warlord trait is I've got a plan, lads, at the end of your deploy forces step. So this happens before you roll to see who goes first, right? So unlike other redeployment, happens before you know who goes first or second, which is interesting. But you can...
That's not the word Rich would use.
Yeah. You can, without any of the units can be put in strategic reserve without spending any CPs on them. So you can basically, before you decide who goes first, grab units, put them in strategic reserve for free. Sure.
Again, this feels like you can get the same benefit by playing better. Like just deploy correctly
instead of having
first
to
time, and
spend a whole Warlord trait for this. You know what I mean? Like
just play better, and you'll get most of the benefit.
Being able to put like units like Mega Knobs into reserves for free. I mean, there's something there, but it's frustrating because so many other armies got. After I know who's going first, I can do this.
Yeah, well then it'd be big, right?
Oh, it'd be amazing. You put 45 commandos 9 inches out and say, "Oh, I'm not going first. I'll move them back."
Yeah.
Why do I feel like there was some playtester who had that happen to them and was like, "No,
that's not going to happen."
Get this
No. You have to choose before you know if you're going first or second. That's too
exactly.
Powerful.
Like, which I feel like you could have a lot of fun with orcs in a tournament. By just being like, yeah, I'm going to put 45 commandos on the line, and we're going to find out who's about to win this game right now.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. Dead Sneaky is the stratagem. Use it at the end of your movement phase if the mission you're playing uses strategic reserves. Select one infantry unit for your army that's not in mega armor within 3 inches of a battlefield edge and put it back in strategic reserve. Now that stratagem would be really useful if you didn't have to take your Warlord as this detachment. Like it's a great like sneaky like go in and out, like there's a lot of play in that sort of thing, like pulling a unit out, putting it in, like in terms of scoring secondaries and things like that. Like having that option is always useful, but having to pay for Warlord to then or like take your main Warlord as it to then take it, you might as well just deep strike some Storm Boys or to jump something somewhere. You know what I mean?
Skari, I just wish other books were like this. I think this is a beautiful balance, but it's the first book that they've done this. So I think that's why it feels kind of, it feels bad
Right.
because yeah, that would be really great if I could just take that,
Right.
but you can't. So, but if other armies were like this, I think the game would be more balanced.
Yeah, I will agree with you. I think that I like where they're going with this, if that makes sense. Like I like that like you have to make a choice, and so when you're list building, like you're making a choice and you have to sort of give up something to take something. I like that the way of doing it.
I like where they're going if they go back and address codexes that
I don't know what you're
don't
talking
have
about,
this.
Rich. I have no idea. I will neither confirm nor deny that I know what you're talking about. And then, of course, the Relic, Morgog's Thinking Cap, Blood Axe model only. It can be taken by a vehicle. At the start of your command phase, if you're on the battlefield on a 4+, you gain a command point. So, just another way of gaining command points. Cool. Then we have Freebooters. I love Freebooters. They're like the pirates of the 40k universe. They're fantastic. Like the real pirates. Dark Eldar are not real pirates. They're raiders. They just go in. Freebooters are pirates. They're like legit pirates.
And they're here for the money.
And they're here for the money.
Like,
that's all they want is the loot.
That's the difference. Who
Now I
knows
will
why Dark
say
Eldar are there?
I love their strat, and I love their relic. I think they're
This is
so
the most
strong.
well-rounded of all
So
the
strong.
clans, in my opinion.
They're very good.
They're so good. And I think you're going to see them a lot. Okay, so the competitive street culture. Each time a freebooter unit destroys an enemy unit, after that unit's attacks have been resolved, until the end of that phase, every time another freebooter unit anywhere on the battlefield attacks, you get +1 to hit. Now, this works in shooting, it works in combat, which is cool because then you have a bonus for both combat and for shooting. And there's no cap on it. So if you have multiple units kill multiple things, you could have a +4 or a +3 or a +5. And I know you can only ever get a +1 to actually influence the roll, but you could offset all your opponent's negative modifiers with that.
Your own.
Right? Yeah. So yours from like shooting assault weapons, firing into dense cover, a -1 to hit from an aircraft. Right?
Yeah.
All that
Claws.
stuff. Right? A power claw for yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So all of a sudden you're hitting on whatever you normally hit on +1. So shooting, you're hitting on 4s with pretty much everything, regardless if you're shooting into forests or into Dark Eldar shenanigans or whatever it is. And in combat, you're hitting on 2s. Like you're just gonna smash people, and I love it. I think that's a very powerful culture.
So something to mention here that's going to be interesting based on how the FAQ says it is in the open top transport rules. It says that detachment bonuses do affect units inside transports. So that's something they never did before.
Yep.
Because reasons. So now they actually can be affected when they're inside a transport. And again, there probably should be an FAQ that's going to stop this. If you're in the transport, you also benefit from any modifiers that the transport benefits from. So if you kill one thing on the battlefield, then your guys in the transport gets +1, which it gives to them, and then they get the bonus from the detachment, so they get an additional +1. So when one thing dies, you get actually +2 for people in the transport. So
really good for like tank busters and like things like inside. You'd be like
+2.
We're just gonna be shooting out of our trucks. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm ignoring the fact I'm carrying a heavy weapon and I'm actually hitting on +1 still after one thing died. So it's pretty strong.
Yeah, I think it's great, and you can max it. You can mix and match this with anything, Dakka jets and the trucks and like anything. Like I think it's really cool.
You can just go start doing math if you really want to.
Bikers,
just find out what's
just. This is how many biker dice I'm rolling, and I'm hitting on 4s now. So like 10 bikes or 9 bikes are doing 90 shots in Dakka range, and I'm hitting on 4s. I'm hitting you 45 times minimum, and that's without like variant spiking and me hitting you like 60 times with like all these strength 5. Like you're gonna roll a bunch of dice to try and not die. Something else that I really like is a freebooter unit, like even though Grots don't benefit from the clan culture, they're still freebooters. So
Oh, yeah.
cannons killing something will make everybody go competitive. So you can use the little cannons or
Honestly,
little
it should
Grot
be
stuff.
+2 if Grots kill something.
Yeah.
Like they should be extra mad that Grots killed something.
They're like, we can't have this. Grots
It's
gotta
either
be better than
+2
us.
or 0 because they're Grots. It doesn't even matter. But I feel so.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's something how it worked before as well. So people should be pretty used to that.
I love it. I think that's really cool. Grove and Grove says, "What's money? I know only teeth."
That's right, Groves.
That's true.
Uh,
And so this is something to point out as well, that the rule is nearly identical to last time, right?
Mhm.
But I think it's a lot better now than it was
oh yeah,
before.
it's not
because,
an aura anymore.
Well, it's not an aura, and how the missions are, everyone has like a couple trash units in their army that they're always throwing at you. So you're like, yeah, thank you. I'll just kill those 5 guys standing on an objective, and now my army's +1. It was a lot less reliable before, when people could play for endgame, and ITC was saying reduce the number of kills that you lose. It was a lot harder. You just realize, I'm not going to get the proc in a lot of games. Now I have not had an issue in my 2 games doing it. I'm sure that there are armies where that's not the case, but I think more often than not, you're going to have 1 or 2 easy that you can save for the turn.
Or like the odd Rhino or Venom or Raider, or like just like a tank or something that's like popping out. Like you just have to kill that one thing and then just have like everything else just let loose, right? And I think that'll really add up with a lot of dice rolls.
And skipping ahead a little bit, the Rucka Truck just
so
dirty.
good. There's 3 or 4 armies that will really cause problems for you to get the +1, like knights and custodies and things like that. But generally, that's right, Steven.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, good to hear.
So Warlord
got
trait.
2 games under me. Listen to me.
Warlord trait. We have Killer Reputation, which is an aura. While an enemy unit is within 3 inches of this model, subtract 1 from their leadership characteristic and give a -1 from combat attrition tests. That, believe it or not, is really good against other orcs because they suffer from leadership stuff. It's also good against AdMech and things like that, where they have like sort of leadership and they have big blobs. If you can force morale tests, or demons, for example, you can make them take attrition and whatnot. It's actually an undervalued thing. I use Poison Tongue Dark Eldar. You do it all the time. And then while a friendly freebooter unit is within 6 inches of this model, they get +1 leadership. Cool. I don't think it's like the best Warlord trait, but it's not terrible. Oh yeah, Robert Lamborn says, I missed the Orky rule that allowed you to transport on a truck as many orcs as you could stack onto it, and models got damaged by
72.
72? Is that how many?
That's my high. That's my high that I ever got.
And then as you moved it, if they fell off, they died or something, right? Like they were just
Barrel of monkeys. Yeah.
That's an old rule for all of you millennials out there. Okay, that's an old
that was
Gorka
before
Morka.
me,
that was before my time even. I heard about that
every
rule.
old person tells you it, right? So
that's right. That's right.
Now I get to tell people about when Black Templars charged forward when they failed morale tests. Like that's the story I get to tell. Their stratagem is now. I will say I love the strat. I love this relic. Okay. So the strat is get dilute. So you use it at the start of your command phase. You select 1 freebooter infantry unit from your army that's on the battlefield, and until the start of your next command phase, they gain objectives secured for 1 command point. That is amazingly good. And because it's in your command phase, you can literally do it before you score points. So if you have like a character surrounded by not OBSEC, you'd be like, that's my objective now. Or if you need to contest an objective, that's, that now I get hold more. Or like, it's just so powerful. If you need to like, because then you've got the Death Skulls, which are all OBSEC, and then you can like pick and choose if you need OBSEC with the freebooters. For missions, it is fantastic, and I love it. For 1
even
CP,
the threat of it
is for 1 CP, amazing. It's really good.
Yeah, you don't even have to use it for it to have an impact on the game.
That's right.
just with your opponent just knowing like, oh my god, if I don't get rid of that freaking character, it's gonna take it back. So then they have to dedicate a ton more firepower over there.
I will also say it's Freebooters infantry, and they don't need to have the culture, so you can use it on grots as well. So they do not need to benefit from the clan culture. They just, you can make your grots, you know, because they're getting the loot. So they are all OPSEC all of a sudden. Like, that's, for 1 CP, that's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty good.
And then the relic is the Bad Skull Banner. Freaking love the names of these. They're so good. So it's a freebooters model. You can put it on a vehicle. While any enemy unit is within 6 inches of this, it loses objective secured. What the hell were they thinking, giving orcs?
So good.
It's so powerful. Anything within 6 inches. Just no OPSEC. Just get out of here. My little grots are going to take this objective away from you. 20 Necron warriors with double OPSEC. You got nothing. Nothing, I tell you.
What's 2 times 0?
Exactly. Nothing.
Yeah, and you can put this, and what's also is it says it goes on a vehicle as well, so you can put it on one of those death strikes that go, 1,000 inches a turn,
and their base is like this big, so the aura is like 20 inches around or whatever it is. Oh my gosh,
it's like a knight that can move 2 feet. Like, okay,
so silly. So silly, and I love it. It's amazing and it's silly. And I think for like competitive play, I think freebooters are probably one of the best ones you can take if you want to take your warlord as a freebooter, because they enhance the shooting and damage capability of the army and close combat capability of the army, and they give you scoring potential, which is
and I don't think you need death skulls.
Yeah,
because of these
you don't
guys.
need them because of that, but I mean, it just gives you that option. I love them. I think freebooters are like, if I played orcs, I'd play pirates. Freebooter pirates, because they're cool. Yep. I like it. So then we get into the specialist mobs. And before we go into the truck boys and the issues with the truck boys and stuff like that, which is definitely more than likely an oversight as of filming. They haven't fixed it yet. However, I hope they will. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of throw them. If you like any of them, just kind of like raise your hand and we'll talk about it. But I feel like some of them are meh and some of them are cool. So we've got Pyromaniacs. Essentially, if you're gonna shoot with a flamer or something, the minimum number of shots you're gonna get is 3 for each flamer. Okay, cool. Boom Boys. If you shoot with blast weapon, you get AP +1. Fly Boys. If a ranged attack shoots them that's more than 6 inches away, they have light cover. So +1 save if you're more than 6 inches away. Okay. Big Crumpers. You can get a big Crumper to pay +1 to hit on like Death Dreads, Gorkanauts, Morkanauts, that sort of thing. You can have a Mad Boy unit, like a biker character mob unit. You have to roll a D3 at the start of every battle round to see if they pile in extra, or reroll one hit wound or 1 wound rule, or they get +1 strength in close combat. So it's like a random bonus. Sneaky Gits. When they make a melee attack, if you're attacking something that's getting cover, they get +1 AP. Truck Boys, which I think is like the one that kind of stands out. However, we'll talk about the like issue in a second. You can give this to a boy, knob, or warboss unit. They gain the Truck Boys keyword, and they lose their clan keyword, which is important. But they can disembark from a truck, even if the truck has made a normal move this phase, which is really good. And then if they're on that truck, in the truck, they give +1 to hit to the truck, because they're like helping the truck like shoot. The thing is they lose their clan keyword, and as of now, a truck can only transport clan keyword units. So technically, by losing the clan keyword, they can't put in. However, we're not going to play it that way, are we? Because that's clearly not what was intended. Like,
for
come
every
on.
specialist mob as well.
Skari, I don't think it's just a truck boy issue. I think all specialists, when they FAQ it, I think all specialists will be able to, because some of the specialist units, if they can't go into transport,
Right.
they're useless.
So they changed the
I
truck
think
to
all
say
specialists,
all
clan or specialist,
specialist unit or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. So hopefully they fix that. You can have one specialist unit in each detachment, essentially.
Right.
And
Right.
and that's it. So you can have 3 detachments, 3 different specialist units. I think the truck boy is personally the only one that really stands out to me. I don't know.
Hey, the
about
Orrible
you.
Gets. You didn't go to Orrible Gets?
I'm going to get to Orrible Gets. Okay, Orrible
Don't
Gets.
read it. Just don't.
Gretchen Core. No. You know what? I'm going to read the whole thing, okay? Horrible Gits. This bunch of grots have been assigned some of the most horrible jobs while at camp. Cleaning out the squig pens is all in a day's work to these little muck-coated runts, aka they're covered in shit, okay? Who take a suspicious level of pride in their work. The dreadful smells and missing body parts that result from such duties are off-putting to everyone, even those orcs whose own body hygiene is suspect at best. So it affects Gretchen core unit. They gain the Horrible Gits keyword, and an Horrible Gits unit gains the objective secure ability. But while other units that are not runt herd units are within 3 inches, they suffer a -1 to their ranged attacks. So if you have your orcs within 3, they suffer -1 to hit.
How do you? Okay.
You just have to stay away from those little poop-covered grunts.
So one thing I will say.
A great conversion opportunity, huh?
Jeez, it's just.
I
read it and I was like, I don't get it.
I can see a little grot.
This seems
like
like mostly
with a little poop
negative.
emoji hat, like a little poop emoji hat, being like, I'm an horrible git.
So the part of the truck boys that I've been using has actually I've been giving it to a war boss who then rides around in the truck with the mech with the custom shooter and then a bunch of shooter boys with 2 rockets. And then he gives +1 to the truck, which, as we said at the beginning,
affects
then confers to all the passengers. So now the Mr. Warboss, who's a truck boy, makes everyone else shoot more accurately, and now all of a sudden your freebooters are shooting at +1 without even killing anything. So it gives you, a unit, in addition to a couple others that just naturally have +1s, that you could possibly kill something.
You're looking at some Inception style stuff, like layers upon layers upon layers upon layers.
I mean, that's the armies I prefer to play, and I feel like Freebooters is the only way to make this book do that. It doesn't want to be that, but
Steven, you could put the 25-point mech in there with his blast pistol, which basically is D3 strength 8 blast -3 D6 damage with a +1 to hit. It's only 12-inch range, but you're in a truck.
Yeah,
so
who cares? Drive around.
That's a nasty little unit.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it. So then we get to the custom jobs. So you can buy a custom job for a model in a detachment. And you can have one custom job per detachment for one model, right? Is that how that works? Yes.
Units that only have a single model.
Correct. So even though it's like a unit of trucks or whatever, you have to buy one truck, and then that truck can be a custom truck.
Right.
Or a custom buggy or whatever. So you can do, depends on what vehicle you give it to or whatever. Some are specific to certain vehicles and some are generic, and they all have a point cost depending on what you put it on. It also increases the power level.
Specific.
Yeah. So, the Booma is for a wagon that is equipped with a kill cannon, and it makes the kill cannon 36 inches, heavy 2d6, strength 8 -2, 2 damage. So like a battle cannon, essentially. The Fortress on Wheels, truck or wagon, has a 5-up invulnerable save. So great. Usually I see it on like a big battle wagon style thing with a 5-up invul just to make it like really tanky. Gyroscopic Whirligig, the shock jump dragster model, Any mortal wounds suffered by this model as a result of its shock tunnel are ignored. That's different than it was before. Before it got to like shock jump, like after it shot, like pretty much all the time. But now that's different. More DACA. It's any vehicle. Every time this model shoots, you roll a d6. On a 4+, you can make 1 additional attack with each DACA weapon it is equipped with. And on a 6, you make 2 additional attacks with each DACA weapon it is equipped with. Hilarious. That's like 15. Why is it 15 or 30 points? What's the second one? The second value is used if the unit being given has a power rating of 10 or more. Okay, so they have 2 power levels sometimes. Okay, makes sense. Is that before or after you add the power level? I don't know. Probably before.
This is one of the few where you can put it on any vehicle.
I feel like it'd be cool on a DACA jet.
You only really want to put it on a DACA jet,
Yeah,
or
jet,
like
yeah.
On a 4+, you just get to roll more dice with the DACA jet. Yeah.
I don't think many guns have more than, or many vehicles have more than 1 or 2 DACA guns. The DACA jet's unique and it has a pile of them.
So good. The DACA jet, for its point cost, is one of the most DACA units I've ever seen in my life. I played against one, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to see more than one of these on the table. They are like nasty. And then if they're freebooters and they're hitting on 4s, please don't. It's so good. Nitro Squigs, which is what you've seen a lot in recent battle reports and whatnot, because the rocket truck squig buggies can get it. And each time a model with this heavy squig launcher or squig launcher, they get +1 to wound. So they're strength 5, -2 to damage with +1 to wound. They're fantastic, shooting out of line of sight or when stuff gets close. That is probably the upgrade you're going to see the most in the Orc Codex. Yeah.
That's where
I like it a lot. Then we have the red roller, so bone breaker only. Every time unit fights, if it charged, you get 3 + D3 extra attacks with the roller. So it's like a little close. I've seen it used as more of a distraction card effect to like run up and be like, "Rah, gonna come get you."
Yeah, I think, and maybe Rich, you could, but I think that is probably the bone breaker. It's probably one of the few units in the Codex that is kind of a miss.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many lists where even if you started with it and you're like, okay, I'm gonna make this work. Several other things just do it better.
Yeah, there's better units.
Then we have the Shocker Hull. Any vehicle can take this. If each time an enemy unit selects this model as a target of any attack in the fight phase, after these attacks have been resolved, on a 4+, they take D3 mortal wounds.
I think this is the other custom job you'll probably see the most.
You'll see that a lot. You put that on your war boss on the bike, on the trike, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and you just go pick on people and consolidate into them. Be like, oh, hit me! Like, you know, I've got -1 to wound, and you're gonna take hits. So yeah.
And I'm ramshackle.
So.
I like it. Yeah, so there's just like extra damage, and they add up over the course of 5 turns, right? Or 5 or 10 combat phases or whatever, right? And you've got the speed to get in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with that. Then you have the souped up special. Boom DACA Snazwagons. Change the type of its model's mech special to DACA 16 or 12. So just
I believe it's 14-10 base, so that's cool.
A couple extra shots for some points. Yeah. Squig Hide Tires. Vehicle model only that's not a walker or an aircraft because they don't have tires. That would make sense. Add +1 to its move, and every time it advances, add 2 to this model's move. An additional 2, so +3 to move with Squig Hide Tires, plus if they're a speed freak and they're in an Evil Sun's detachment, that would be +5 to their movement. That's a very fast vehicle.
And the relic, you get
put that on the vehicle truck. 9. Put that on the vehicle truck with your truck boys. So it's moving super fast. And then the truck boys can get out and be like, wee! Like one side or the other in one turn. Get excited. Then we've got the Stompomatic Pistons. So Draft Dread, Gorkanaut, Morkanaut only. Add 3 to its move characteristic and add +1 to advance rolls made for the model. I've seen that on Death Dreads. Just like making them a little faster, you know, they stomp up the battlefield a little faster, whatever. But because you only get 1 custom job per detachment, like there's a lot of them that are going to be fighting for like what you can get, right?
Is it detachment limited?
Yes.
I thought
You
you
can
could take
upgrade
as
any
many as
orc
you
model
want.
in your army with one custom job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A specialist mob cannot have custom jobs.
Yeah, the specialist mobs are limited, but the custom jobs, because
Oh,
you
you
pay
can
for
just
them,
buy them.
you
You
can
can just give them to pretty
yeah.
much anybody. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can put those anywhere. I mean, you generally, because again, they're all basically upgrades for
So
one
they're
kind of
points.
model.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
There's not much of a, even if that was the case, I don't think that would be a limitation. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Cool, I like it. I thought it was only once per detachment, but that makes sense.
But
Cool.
again, going back to the first thing I said, most of these custom jobs are not giving anything different except for like maybe the Shaka hull. It's just look at the data sheet. Oh, it's upgraded. Okay, it does whatever it does a little bit better. It's okay. It's +1 to wound. Okay, Daka shoots a little bit more. Bonebreaker, it hits a little bit more. So it's not really combos. It's just stats.
Nice. And then we've got the mech custom jobs. So we got the bionic oiler. So these are, I'm assuming, for mechs. Model equipped with a grot oiler only. The grot oiler can be used twice per battle. The runt sucker, big mech only with a shock attack gun. The
Oh my god.
type of its weapon changed to 2d3 heavy instead of heavy d6. So it's like a mid-range, like not the 2d6 that it used to be, right?
This one hurt. This one really hurt.
Right in the feelers, eh?
Yeah, this one should have become 3d3. That's
Yes.
Like
2d3 is
it's barely even an upgrade, man. Like
Yeah.
Well, at least you can't re-roll a 1 into a 1 anymore.
Yeah. Woo. But considering how much we, I think it's one of the truly bad units in the Codex now.
Right.
Even with spending money on spending points on a relic. So that's, I think again, someone at GW was tired of their pretty knight just getting annihilated by a Deskull thing with +1 to wound, and that they just like drop kick this thing out of the Codex. They might as well have just deleted the model.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the extra custom weapon. So model equipped with a custom Mega Slugger or Mega Blaster. Every time it shoots, you can make an additional attack with that weapon. Cool. Smoky Gubbins, unit that contains a spanner model.
I've got to. So until they FAQ it, I think that these are intended only for mechs. But until they FAQ it, there are some really crazy things you can do with that with some Forge World units.
Because they have Mega Sluggers or custom Mega Blasters.
There's like a Grot tank that shoots
Grot
like
tank
80.
has like 6. Yeah, he has 6 custom Mega Blasters or something crazy. So they'll FAQ that. You won't be able to do that.
For
but
10 points.
Yeah, no,
buddy.
That's not intended, guys.
It's just so weird. It's so
seven
unusual.
Custom Mega Blasters, amazing.
Forge World units becoming a problem,
right?
Yeah.
What?
That never happened.
That never ever in the history of all of Warhammer has a Forge World unit been a problem. Smoky Gubbins, unit that contains a spanner model only. If it remains stationary, it has light cover. So cool. Not even dense cover, just light cover. And then we've got the Zap Krumpas. Unit that contains a spanner model only. Each time a melee attack is made by a model in this unit, an unmodified wound roll of 1 inflicts a mortal wound on the target in addition to normal damage. So I'm assuming anything with a spanner is what? Looters?
And Burna Boys.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. So you could do that.
I could see it on a unit of Burnas. That could be interesting.
This is one of the few that the upgrade changes how the unit actually operates.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, Orks our biggest issue has always been actually like dedicated assault.
Mm-hmm.
A big unit of like Storm Shield Terminators gets in the middle of the army, and there has never been an edition of Orks, at least since I've been playing, where we could handle that. It was just always really bad whenever that happened. And this is one of the few units that could actually kind of mess that up if they had the right combo. If they were, Goffs and they had this and they were -2 on the rest of it because they're a specialist mob or something. Yeah. Actually, I guess you can't combine that. But, you could actually do a whole pile of mortal wounds, which is one of the few things that's going to I mean,
Well, if they were Goffs, then they had like you could go Zappa Goff Burners and then give them like they get the extra hits on sixes, and then that'll give them
Right.
extra.
No.
They lose they custom
Yeah.
jobs. Custom jobs lose them.
No, custom jobs don't.
No,
Custom
not a
jobs don't.
custom job.
Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
I was thinking you could combine them, but you just cut that.
But you could put Warpath on them and have the Waaagh going,
Totally.
so they could have 4 attacks each.
But
So,
they could,
I mean,
but burners could be
4 attacks,
Goffs, right?
hitting on
Like you
twos.
could make them Goffs.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they have extra hits on sixes, and then Warpath, and then
well, and it could be on 5s and 6s.
Fives
So,
and
This
sixes.
is one of the
and
cases
then-
where you
okay.
actually can combo up a pretty gnarly unit.
Yeah.
Very nasty unit. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know
I mean,
sixes to do
it's
mortals,
still
like, and it's an addition, right? So sixes to do
Yeah.
mortals in addition is really, really good, right? So I
Yeah,
like
it's-
that.
I
I
mean,
like it.
It's still just T5 works with a T-shirt on. So
That
like,
is also very
don't-
true.
Don't look at them funny, but they will hit literally harder than anything else in the codex.
Yep.
I think I can say that with confidence. Maybe like a
Yeah.
Stampa or something is better, but
That's neat.
no. Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive into the stratagems. We got 3 pages of strats. We'll kind of burn through them real quick here, so that we
Yeah, we
don't.
can just skip
so
through
this
this section.
said like a true orc. So we'll just kind of explain a little bit about what they are. If there's any one that we think is like decent or good, we'll kind of like touch on it. So Kareen is 1 or 2 CP when a vehicle explodes. So like you have to have a vehicle explode first, but when it explodes, you can move it 6 inches before it explodes. If it's a wagon or Titanic, is 2 CP. It's cool, but the fact that it's like if it explodes, then you can use it.
This is
it's
our
so
coolest
random.
strat. Get excited.
What? Sorry.
This is the best. This is the coolest strat. Get excited.
When you
It's all
explode, you
downhill
get to
from
use it.
here.
Yeah. I do like it. I was like, oh, that's really cool. But then I was like, wait, there's no like auto explode strat anywhere or something to like make sure
No,
I
there's
can
no
use this.
combo. You just,
No?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's completely random. Bah. Then we
It's
got.
fun. I like it.
Now I do like it. When it goes off, it's going to be powerful. Like when it happens, it'll be amazing. But like,
I have used this. I
You know?
finished off a character. I just like scooted over a little bit and like nicked a character that it took some damage.
it also
but
means you can like, if you're in a truck or something, you can move the truck to then get out and then like
Yeah.
emergency disembark further. Like there's like a lot of cool shenanigans. But the fact that it's only on a 1 in 6 chance, then you get to use
just get good at
Kareem.
rolling sixes.
Like, yeah. So then we have Get Stuck In Lads. Boys or Beast Snagger Boys unit, or Snagger Boys, selected to fight. Until the end of the phase, they can pile in an additional 3 inches or consolidate an additional 3 inches. And they can't combine it with any other rule that adds or takes to that. If it's 10 or fewer models, it's 1 CP, otherwise it's 2 CP. Can be useful to like, this is to contest objectives and stuff. I feel like that sort of like extra movement is always powerful, so it's always good to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, it's also very useful in combination with the Snagger grapple that comes up later, because you could pile in to a Tau army and then say, okay, you guys aren't getting away.
Or like
I mean,
wrapping and
I would have
trapping and
preferred
stuff like that
fight
too.
twice probably.
I hear you, Steven. Yes, I hear you.
Fight twice. Orcs don't like to fight in close combat. It's all about the deca. Come on, that's how this works. So ramming speed 2 CP. That's an oldie but a goodie. An orc vehicle can charge 3d6 inches, and when it does, you select an enemy unit within engagement range. And on a 2+, it takes D3 mortal wounds. So
This
yeah.
is by far the strat I use the most.
Good strat.
I don't know about you.
It's probably
Rich.
one of the
Good
better strats. And it's 2 CP, so you're spending like a lot to it, but the mortal wounds and then the 3d6 is really good, especially if you use a teleporter for something, or it's useful. I like it.
I feel like every orc strat is 2 CP.
Oh
It's
my
just
god.
the whole
yeah.
book is 2 CP.
These 2 orcs are very excited about their new book.
Oh, I love it.
It's just the strats are
the strats are-
terrible.
It would be better if they were cheaper, but they're all expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to put it like again in comparison, this is the exact same strat from 8th, and in 8th I used it, I don't know, less than a dozen times because there was so many other good options, and now it's quite literally our best strat. Like it was barely worth consideration in the last book, and now it's our best strat. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like I guess I'm gonna start with 4 CP, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like anytime I can use a strat, I do because I know I'm not gonna use it on anything else. Like that's how CP is used in this
Interesting.
book.
Gun Crazy Show-Offs. This strat at the end of your shooting phase, select a flash kit unit from your army, and it can shoot again as long as it shoots at the closest enemy unit. So they took away the random flash kit
This
shooting,
one was weird.
and now you can just shoot again for 2 CP, but it's just you have to shoot the closest. So it's like a guaranteed shoot
That
twice.
always was. Yeah, that always was how it worked. This one is weird because it was a datasheet thing that they put as a strat when everything else went on the datasheet. Like, it was the only thing that went the opposite direction.
Interesting. Then we go the Hit Them Harder. Use it in the fight phase when a Meganobs unit is selected to fight. They get +1 damage with their claws or kill saws.
Very useful.
Yeah, I guess this is another one that's really good. Really, like, go to what? Is it 4 damage with the claws?
No, it would be 3 with power claws and then a D3 +1 with the kill saws.
Nice, so minimum 2, which is really cool.
Mhm.
Up to 4. Okay, with the kill saws.
It's a miss that they didn't make this available to regular knobs as well. That would have been, I think that would have been awesome.
I think there's a new plastic Meganobs kit that they might want to be putting in people's tables. Yeah, just thinking, because they look cool.
They do.
Yeah. Tough as a squig hide, 2 CP. Use a stratagem in any phase. Be Snagger Infantry, be Snagger Cavalry, or Monster. Unit from your army selected as a target of an attack. You give them transhuman physiology. So it basically gives them the snake bite like ability on everything, not just on +8 on 8 less than strength 8.
Yeah,
basically.
it gives you true transhuman.
True
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, yeah, that makes them tough. Then we got Breaking Heads, 2 CP. When a morale test is failed for a clan unit, that's not a Gretchen, from your army within 3 inches of another clan warboss or nob, it takes D3 mortals and the morale test is having passed. So they took it away as an ability and added it as a 2 CP strat.
2 CP. It should be 1. It's ridiculous.
I'm seeing all the veins pop out in your heads. Be like, I used to just be able to crumb some heads when they failed and make them pass.
Should be 1.
It should be. Yeah, this is not. Well, yeah, it's 2 CP now, sure. Orks is never beaten. 2 CP. In the fight phase, when a character dies, they get to fight, basically, as long as they hadn't fought before. So, a fight in death. Always useful. But now it's only if you haven't fought. So it follows the trend of...
It follows the rule. Yeah,
it follows the trend.
Everybody's getting that. Everybody's getting that.
The bigger day is 2 CP. Use it in the fight phase when a Beast Snagger War boss is selected to fight. When you fight against Titanic units, add 2 to the damage of that attack. So watch out, knights.
Especially if Morzog's around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
He's doing 5. He's doing 5 flat.
Yeah, what's the highest? Can you get to like some
5 flat?
crazy,
So you need to
like,
do what?
5 flat.
Wounds. He'd do 5 wounds to a knight, and then that knight just dies.
Yeah. And
well,
he has 9 attacks.
You could do 5 damage, and then if you roll a 6, you do 4 mortals. So you could like kill a knight by just rolling like 2 6s, or right? Like,
yeah,
that's nuts. That's kind of cool, actually. Well, then who knows? Like when they redo the Knight Codex and the
just get good at rolling 6s. Like this Codex works a lot better if you know when to roll a 6.
Yeah, that does make sense. Extra gubbins. So these are your standard 1 CP. Pick a character in your army and give them an extra relic.
There's your 1 CP, Rich. Enjoy it.
There you go.
Now you can use CP for that. That is for sure. You can use it twice in a Strike Force battle. And then your big boss. Use a stratagem before the battle. Warlord has Orc keyword. You can pick an additional Warlord trait. And then select when you're mustering your army. Can you give a model 2 Warlord traits with this?
You cannot.
Thank goodness. That was so stupid.
Only the Marines can do that, right?
No, you can give a model 2 Warlord traits with this.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I
use
don't
stratagem
think
before the battle when you're mustering your army. If your warlord has the orc keyword, select an orc character for
I'm
your
playing
army
for fun now, so I'm just
and
saying
determine
that's
one
enough.
warlord trait for that model. This must be a warlord trait they could have. That model is only as your warlord for the purpose of that warlord trait. Each warlord trait in your army must be unique. A lot of the times it says if you're not allowed, it says something completely different. Like for example, let me just double check it with the sisters book here, because they have they can't do it. And then there's one that lets you double it up in the book of Rust or whatever. So a character in your army. There's a no, that's not it. No, that's not it either.
That's
Determine
stupid
what
if that's
trait
how
this
it works.
model trait. Oh no, never mind. Oh no, here we go. It specifically says you cannot use a stratagem to give a model 2 warlord traits.
Wow.
And then in say Book of Fire, which is no, this is where's Book of is it second? Yeah,
I
Book
see
of
the
Fire.
gears turning Rich's head.
Book of Fire, which is at least it doesn't seem to have that stipulation. Like you look at Book of
If
Fire.
that's Skari, if that's the case, wow, that changes a lot for what I will build in the future.
Like I don't
Yes.
see
Silly
anything that
Warbosses
says you
walking
can't.
around.
Here, look, where are you? Where are you, martyred lady? Come on, martyred lady. Show
Although most
yourself.
of the
Here we go.
the
Exemplar of the
toughness
order.
stuff.
Use a stratagem when nominating a warlord. This model gains one additional warlord trait. Interesting. So that's one additional one. Okay, this is very specific here. This one says pick a warlord trait for that character. Oh no, here it is. Sorry, it does say it. And you cannot use a stratagem to give a model 2 warlord traits. Sorry, it was tucked in there. So, oh no, that's a different one. Never mind. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, it is right
you
here. Big
can't use
boss.
it. Yeah, you can't
You
use it.
cannot use it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
We went down a rabbit hole
Sorry,
for no
messing me up.
reason.
Messing me up.
I
That's
didn't
what
even.
that's
I
what the
never even
Drukhari
considered it.
do. That's what the Drukhari do, and I love it. So extra warlord traits for stuff. Okay, Tide of Muscle. 1 CP. Use it in the charge phase when you select an orc core unit to charge. They can ignore modifiers to their charge roll. So can be handy if you get slowed down by something.
And if you're fighting somebody who has that Tanglefoot grenade or something, you can just say, "Yeah, you're not going to do that."
Sheer willpower is what's getting me into combat right now.
Yeah.
I think the funny part is that Deathwatch's unique anti-orc strat is countered by now one of our strats. It's like
Yeah, that makes sense.
strange
Unstoppable Momentum, 1 CP. In your charge phase, after a novel smashes squig finishes a charge move, know any models in engagement range of that model, it can immediately select it to charge again. This is really good because he does, was it up to 5 mortal wounds on the charge? So you can
Yeah.
literally be like, oh, you have one model with 1 wound in my way. I'm going to headbutt you and kill you, and then I'm going to charge again. I like the technical aspect of this stratagem.
Well, and the broken part is you could have 3 of those doing that. So you could have the first guy comes in, he does 5 dice. The next guy comes in, he does 5 dice. The next guy comes in, he does 5 dice. And then if they kill it, then you go after something else. It's pretty good.
Yeah, you can pick one of them basically to be like, okay, you go and charge something else and be annoying. I like that. Grot Shield, 2 CP. Select an Orc infantry unit for your army. Select a Gretchen infantry unit that's within 6 inches. Until the end of the phase, you cannot shoot the Orc infantry unit unless if the Gretchen infantry unit is closer and visible.
That's 2 CP. That's great.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Hey, it's those poop Gretchen, you know. They're gonna sit in the way. We know you're adding Gretchen to be objective secured anyway, so you might as well, with the strat. You're just spending
Get
3
them all
CP on
dead.
this Gretchen.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
No.
No. Then we got the Teleporter. Use a stratagem during deployment. Select one non-monster unit from your army that's 20 or less power level. Set it up in the Teleporter, and you can basically deep strike it. If you selected a transport, then embarked units remain embarked, which is cool. So for 2 CP, you can have like a transport and everything inside, basically like teleport, which is kind of cool. And it's good because you can do it on vehicles, so you can do it on like Def Dreads, or I guess you could technically do it on I don't know, what other things would you use this on? Just like,
you could put it on Gorkanaut.
are they 20 power level for Gorkanaut?
They used to be. I don't know. I haven't checked.
Well, they did
Gotta
go
be
up in like
400.
they went up in killiness. Gorkanaut
Stampa
is
is only
they're
like
19.
600 points.
Gorkanaut,
Yeah.
Morkanaut are 19. So you could potentially even maybe give them a custom job too and make them 20 and then put them in the teleporter. Plus then
And then you could 3d6 charge out of
Right.
deep strike. I mean, it's decent.
Okay. So then we have the lumbering strides. In the charge phase, when you use the Irrigo ability to reroll a charge roll for Morkanaut, Gorkanaut, or Stompa, you can reroll one of the dice instead of both. For Morkanaut,
I'm
Gorkanaut,
surprised
or
this isn't
Stompa.
3 CP.
Why
Well-
isn't that a general strat for all orcs and not just on the big guys?
Because they want you to use the Lords of War, okay? You know, that's 3d6 charge and then reroll any of the dice for CP.
Also,
I'm
our
getting
las
death
cannons
stares.
are-
I'm getting 2 death stares from both of these orc players staring. I can feel the burning eyes through the screen.
Well, that's one of the things that we really. That's a very powerful ability.
It is, yeah.
And
It's a shame.
that
It's a
they
shame.
they
is what
took it
is.
away and didn't
Yeah.
even give us an opportunity to pay CP to do that on one unit. I think was a miss.
Yeah.
But the Stampa, though.
Ooh,
Stump is good.
cool. I like it. I like the Stompa. I'm a huge fan of the Stompa. Burn them all. 1 CP for Burn a Bomber. When it makes attacks with its Scorcher missiles, after resolving these attacks, each other unit within 3 inches of the target suffers 1 mortal wound. Sure.
Cool.
Okay. Monster
I think
Hunters.
that'll be decent.
Yeah, if you use a burner bomber. Use a stratagem at the start of any phase. Select 1 enemy monster or vehicle and up to 3 beast snagger units from your army. Each time an attack is made by a model in one of these 3 units to that target, the selected monster vehicle, you can add +1 to wound. So 2 CP for 3 different units to wound 1 monster or vehicle. I can see that being useful if you really need something dead in like a specific like combat phase or something. Be like, that's your demon prince. You know what? All these 3, like they're just gonna run in and get +1 to wound to like make sure that happens.
And it's good against knights, things like that.
Yeah, especially if they
Yeah,
have
it means
one
you'll
big
be-
unit.
It means you'll be wounding most of this stuff on a 4, which is silly.
Yeah.
So, like a buffed unit of Beast Snagger boys with this, if you do it out, like if they're like Goffs or something, they can like just kill a knight, like just 20 of them.
Yeah.
So no, it's solid.
Yep. 2 CP again. Then we got Cutting in Flames, Wargear Stratagem. In the fight phase, like to burn a boys unit from your army until the end of the phase. When you make
This
a
one's
melee
decent.
attack, they have AP -2.
I mean, Rich, didn't they just do this before?
They had power swords
Yeah,
before.
yes,
they literally
they did.
used to just have power
Yeah.
swords.
So now
Well,
we
they were
just have to
-2
pay.
power swords. Now we have to pay, and it's 2 CP, right? 2
No,
CP?
that one's 1.
One.
That
Oh,
one's
okay.
1. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
good.
It
Well,
lessens.
they're only charging us 1 for doing something that we used to do for free. So I
They're
guess
saying, hey, orc players, feel the burn.
We
I
can't
know.
complain. They gave us real flamers. We can't complain.
Yeah, yeah.
that's fair. Yeah. Before it was like, what do I even do with these things? Yeah. So
more DACA, 2 CP. When an orc unit from your army is selected to shoot until the end of the phase, DACA weapons are considered to be within half range, no matter how far they are from the enemy.
This is 2?
Yep.
I've been spending 1 without even a question to look on that up. Oh my god.
Well, you're right. It should be 1.
I like didn't even like, oh, obviously that's 1. Like, what do you mean?
No, it's 2. Okay, 2 CP. You want to use it? 2 CP for you. Or
Oh,
no
my
DACA for you. Cloud of Smoke, 2 CP. Speed Freak vehicle from your army in your opponent's shooting phase until the end of the phase, and you have to use it at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. While a Speed Freak vehicle unit is within 6 inches of the selected unit, it's -1 to hit. So 1 vehicle unit can give all other vehicle units -1 to be hit. It's just like a big smoke screen. I guess if you've got a bunch of buggies surrounded by a buggy, you can just make all of the buggies -1 to hit. I think that was pretty good, especially if you have like a lot of buggies.
It's actually just 1 vehicle that gets a -1.
No, everybody within 6.
6 inches of
Oh,
that
it
unit.
is?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't think
Select
he
one
does, though.
Select 1 Speed Freaks vehicle from
Yep.
your army until
Yep.
the end of that phase, while a friendly Speed Freaks vehicle unit is
within-
within 6 of the selected unit. Each time a range attack targets that unit, subtract 1 from the attack. Is that unit
Interesting.
referring
Hold on.
to
The way that
Speed
you're reading
Freaks?
it, so you're going select one Speed Freak vehicle unit.
Yeah.
Sorry, until the end of the phase, while a friendly Speed Freak vehicle unit is within 6 inches of the selected unit. Each time a ranged attack targets that unit, so any unit within 6, subtract 1 from the attack's hit roll.
Oh, I guess it depends on what you think that unit is referring to. When I read it, I thought it was talking about the original.
While a friendly vehicle is within 6 inches of the selected unit, every time a ranged attack targets that unit, so any unit within 6 inches, subtract 1 from the attack hit roll for 2 CP.
That's how I read it. That's how I read it as well.
Each time a ranged attack targets that unit. So the last time we had unit was selected unit, which is
the last time we had unit was while a friendly Speed Freak vehicle unit is within 6 inches of the selected unit. Right. No, I get it. I understand. It's bad.
Unit,
it's
right?
bad English. Bad English. I get it. But I feel like for 2 CP, it's intended.
I'm not even trying to be a rules lawyer thing. I just legitimately didn't think that it did that. I thought you just get it on one. I mean, I figured, like, why not? It's an Orc stratagem.
Tanya
of course
says,
it only works on.
Ladies and gentlemen, dangling modifiers. This is why we need a technical writer on the GW.
That's exactly right. I was going to say the same thing. Just get a technical writer. But you could put it on your trike, because they can't target the trike, and then the trike protects all the buggies around it. That's actually
assuming that's how it works. Yeah,
that's legit. I think that's how it works.
I think that's how it works too. Then again, you've been putting a truck warboss in a truck. Technically, that's not allowed.
Yeah, so I guess. I mean, I'm usually stretching the rules as far as they'll go, and I'm reading that and going, ooh, I don't know if that's how that works. So.
This is a good one. Okay, this one's good. This one's good. We'll give you that one. Tank Buster Bomb. I actually like this strat. 1 CP.
It's pretty good.
Roll a hit roll with a unit that has a Tank Buster Bomb keyword, and that vehicle unit takes 2d3 mortal wounds. I use that with
I'm astonished this is 1.
I use that as 2d3 mortal wounds on a 1 hit roll. I love it. It's great. It's 1 CP.
It's especially good on Death Skull commandos because they get to reroll.
Yeah, get a reroll to hit. It's fantastic. I use it with my Black Templars all the time because Crusader squads have Melta Bomb, and I like run up and like just throw Melta Bombs and stuff. It's actually really good in the protracted combat. It's so good.
I mean, again, this is one of those. I hadn't read any other books when I first went through this, and so I was just reading through our codex and comparing this to what it was. I'm like, that's the other one was so.
In the current rule set, that's actually quite good. Just doing like mortal wounds to a tank, it's good.
It doesn't have the apocalyptic possibilities that the previous one did.
I don't get to roll a bazillion tank like bomb dice.
I think I killed 7 Talos in a turn with that.
Get out of here.
It was ridiculous.
Don't even. Moving on. Snagger grapple. Use a stratagem at the start of the opponent's movement phase. Select a Snagger Boy unit from your army. Each time an enemy unit that's not Titanic that is within engagement range of that unit selected to move, roll a d6 on a 4+ cannot fall back. I do like that one. I like that a lot. It's like the witch thing on a 4+, but it is 2 CP, so it's very expensive. However, being able to stop someone from falling back, it can be game winning. I'm going to stress that.
Yes.
I'm going to stress that. It can win you the game. So I like that one. I think that one's cool. It's not their fault. They don't know English. They're only British. Ground Shaker Shells. When you use a Nevi Lobba, which I think is on like the kill rig or the other rig or whatever.
It's just on the kill rig. And
1 CP. So you pick a target, spend a CP. If you hit that target, if it's not Titanic or Fly, then you halve the move characteristics and -2 from advance and charge rolls. So it can be really good at slowing people down. However, you don't even know if you hit when you have to use a CP. Sure. Cool. Anything like that is really powerful, but there's a lot of stuff for it to happen. So it's not as reliable as like a Thunderfire Cannon, for example. Or like a Whirlwind.
And it's on a huge, what is effectively melee Psyker unit.
Yeah.
Right.
But
then we have the Force Field Booster, 2 CP to increase the custom force field from a 6 to a 9 inch, and then have everybody have a 5-up invulnerable save, and then it burns out, and you can't use it ever again.
And Skari, when you use it, that's the problem. When you choose to
At the
use it, you
start of
can't
the
use it.
opponent's shooting phase.
You can't use it offensively.
Right. You can't use it like in the combat phase when you charge in.
Yes.
You're like, everybody gets a 5-up. Let's not
Yep.
get hit back this turn. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. So this is more like a, I don't want to get alpha struck off the table. Burn it, like because there's
this is
no terrain
again-
on the board.
You know, some guy at GW shooting at a bunch of grots probably, and their opponent rolled a bunch of 5-ups, and they're just like taking
Nope.
getting rid of
Just
that.
once
like,
per game. You can't use it anymore. Just once per game. That's it. You're done. Okay, so strats wise, like some are okay, some are very situational, some are just downright like head scratchers. So I guess you might as well use your CP to get like extra relics, extra warlord traits, like get your detachments in so you get like access to some cool warlord traits, for example, and really kind of use your CP in that way more than like relying on stratagems. If I'm getting like the gist of
Yeah.
it here.
In general, yes.
Yeah.
And from a competitive standpoint, since so many lists are built around fast attack,
Yeah.
a lot of the more interesting strats just don't have any interaction whatsoever with fast attack stuff. You 2d6 charge from reserve, and then you reroll anything that's important after that. Like that's kind of
Makes
that's how
sense.
you'll see a lot of.
Let's jump into the warlord traits. So in the warlord trait, we have, of course, there's actually 3 different warlord trait tables. We've got the regular orc warlord traits, the beast snagger warlord traits, and the speed freaks warlord traits. That can each be given to characters that have the keywords they need. That. So orc warlord traits. If there's one that you like, just raise your hand, or tell me, because I'm not looking at your faces. Follow me, lads, as an aura. Warlord made a charge move this turn. Until the end of the turn, friendly clan orc unit that declared charge against the unit that he charged get +1 to charge against it. So he's like, follow me. Cool. Big Gob. 3 inches to the range of the aura abilities to a max of 9. So any auras you have +3 inches. Ard as nails. -1 to wound the warlord. I think that was pretty good. I like that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Especially
I don't know why you. I don't know why you like that, Rich.
the toughness on some of your units. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah.
Right. Brutal but cunning. Warlord fights. If every time the warlord fights, if all of its attacks target one enemy, basically it's the competitive edge. If you're a Dark Eldar fan, you can roll the dice again for anything that didn't damage something. So if you really need like a killy dude to just go murder something, be like, oh, you made your invulnerable saves, I get all my attacks again. I dare you to get lucky a second time. So that
and there are some shenanigans. There's some shenanigans with this that you can pull with the squig beasts, because when they roll the 6 for mortals, they technically don't get to the damage step.
Right.
Because
so
they just do mortal.
Okay. Right. Okay, that makes sense. So then you get to roll attacks again.
Oh,
I love it. That's great. That's like mind blowing.
I don't think that's the intended, but
so was. You know what wasn't intended? It was taking a razor flail and doing 40 some attacks with it with competitive edge. Okay, like I'm pretty sure that was not intended, clearly. Yeah. But go ahead, like whatever. I like orc warbosses being killy for now. Go kill stuff with your warbosses. Go have fun. Cunning but brutal. Start of the fight phase. Warlord can fight first if it's engagement range. So okay. Might is right. +1 to strength and attacks. I like the -1 to wound, and I really like competitive edge. But competitive edge, you have to like fight everything against one thing. So it's like if you have like a nasty heavy target, like he's really good at killing that one nasty target, basically.
And this is where I think the orcs kind of struggle, because all of the warlords are generally like 2 damage.
Yes.
A lot of their weapons. So if you're fighting against something that say has 3 wounds and an invul, then even with this, your guy going in is gonna kill like 3, maybe. That'd be a pretty good round to kill 3 wound models with like a 5-up or a 4-up invul, which is not that uncommon. Like that's a Terminator, so
yeah, I like it. Then we have, wait a second, does this Does a Mega Armored Knob have the Mega Knobs keyword or no?
Yeah, they do.
No,
No, it's a
does
Mega
he?
Knobs unit, right? Okay.
Yeah, I think
Right.
that the +1 damage is
Yeah,
only
he
for
just
Mega
has
Knob.
he has Mega Armor. He's not a okay. He's
Yep.
not okay. I was like looking at that. I was like, can you? No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Beast Snagger Warlord trait. Big Killer Boss. Every time the Warlord
No combos.
fights, if it's within engagement range of a vehicle or monster, then he gets +2 attacks. And every time it makes an attack against a vehicle or monster, you get +1 to wound. So it just really kills vehicles and monsters.
If it was characters too, it would be awesome.
Right. That would be really, really good against characters, like a character sniper. Then we got the Beast Gob. When a clan squig unit is within 6, every time a model in that unit makes a melee attack with the Squig Hog Jaws, the Smasher Squig Jaws, or a Squigosaur Jaw. Oh my goodness, these, like, I'm going to need a big glass of water after all these names. Add 1 to the damage. So it's
That's
just
actually really good.
yeah, +1 damage to the squigs, which that's actually pretty decent. That's not bad.
Yeah,
I like that.
this is where you get your 3 damage stuff is from the squigs and the codex. It's actually not. I don't think it's from the characters really.
You bite stuff basically. That's neat.
The boss has 4 damage with his squig. The little guys all have 3 damage with theirs. It's good.
That's a good damage dealer. Okay, I like it. Half Chewed. While the Warlord is within engagement range of an enemy character or monster, every time it would lose a wound on a d6, it's a 4+ feel no pain, as long as you're within an inch of a character or monster.
That's really good.
It's not bad. I'll tell you, especially against like mortal wounds and stuff. You know, like getting in there and being like just 4 feel no pain. It's pretty good. That's more of a defensive one, of course, instead of a fighty one. Then we have the Speed Freeks Warlord traits. So the Road Killer. After he makes a charge move, you select one enemy within 1 inch, and on a 2+ takes D3 mortals. Which, of course, if you're running a Death Killer War Trike, that is a vehicle that could do mortals when you charge anyway with the the ramming speed or whatever. You can do 2
the
D3
amount of
mortals.
we can do on
spicy.
charge it's crazy in this codex.
It's very good.
That's actually really spicy. I like that one a lot. That one's cool. But then again, -1 to wounds, like pretty good too. So get up in their faces, eligible to shoot in a turn in which they fell back. Okay, probably one of the more lackluster ones. Junk Boss has a 4-up invulnerable save. Just straight up, just 4-up invul. They already have a 5-up invul though, right? So it's like it adds to that.
Like, the fact that you can have like 4 orc characters running around with a 4-up invul is wild. That is something we could not do. They don't do anything. They just walk around and hit stuff, but they have a 4-up invul now, so that's cool.
That's really useful. Then we have the Power of the War Discipline and the Beast Head Discipline. So some of them have changed. Of course, they added a whole other discipline to the psychic powers and whatnot. Then we'll get to the chapter approved rules and the relics, and then we'll jump into the. They have lots of data sheets. We'll jump into the data sheets, and then we'll be done. So we're almost there. We've gone through some of the good nitty gritty stuff. So far, I've had a lot of fun chatting orcs with you because you both play orcs, so you have like. You play competitively, so you kind of know, like, yeah, I'm going to use this a lot, or it sounds cool, but I'm not really going to use it so much. You know what I mean? Like that's it's neat.
I'm playing for fun.
Oh, you're playing for fun, of course, within a drive. So we have 2 completely different people, completely different orcs. One is playing competitively and will eat your face, and then the other one is playing for fun. Okay, we're just gonna make that clear. Playing Freebooters with a Warboss that gives you +3 to hit in your truck while you're like jumping around. And...
I don't know what you're talking about.
Power of the War Discipline. Edbanger. It's a Witchfire. Power value 5. 18 inches of psych of 1 enemy unit. Roll a d6. If the result is higher than the toughness, takes d6 mortal wounds. And no more than 1 model can be destroyed as a result of these mortal wounds. AKA, Edbanger is to try and nuke characters, I believe is the intended intent of this.
With preset psychers, this is crazy that this stayed the same in my mind. At least before, when you could choose, like, you could occasionally be like, I'm playing against guard. Maybe I'll get the chance to run up and like nuke someone. But now it's like, I'm never taking this. There's
you have
no way
you have to build it into your list. There's no way to switch it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't have a strat to switch in game or anything. You just have to be like, no, I'm gonna run orcs, and I'm gonna roll higher than your toughness. It doesn't even auto do it on 6 or anything. Like,
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, moving on. Warpath. Charges 6. Select a friendly core or character unit within 18. They get +1 attack. I think that was a pretty standard, like, go beat something up.
Doesn't it say clan?
It is clan character or clan core.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where because it used to not be clan.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know this.
So that changed. So it has to be the same paint. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The jump.
I don't like that.
So the jump is value 7. So this is also clan core within 12. Deep strike them, like move them, pick them up and move them. So, and it has to be core.
This one I feel like got worse, not just because of the core, but because now it's so unreliable. You're just like, all right, it's in Gork's hands. If this goes off, right, you're not at +3 to cast. So you can't base a strategy around this anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
even the plus the relic that we had that gives a +1 does not give a +1 to this.
Right.
Which is the
Interesting.
one place where you really want it.
Yeah.
That would make sense because you need, like, the jump is one of those that you need it to go off, right? Because that's part of the whole game plan, right? Fist of Gork. It's a blessing of 6. Select a friendly orc character within 12 and visible. Until the start of the next psychic phase, you get +2 strength, +2 attacks. But if you rolled an 11 or more, add 3 to strength and attacks. If you really want to make a killy character, I guess you're gonna go for Fists of Gork.
It's a good one.
To just
and that one's not clan locked.
No, that one is not. That's just an orc character. Just
What?
make him go punch stuff and punch stuff good. Like, I like that
I'm gonna vote those two, the Warpath clan lock being the most ignored rule in the Codex. That's what I'm picking. 100% people are gonna
one to keep in mind. What is clan locked? What isn't? It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, they should have just made them all clan locked or
Is
all
that the
not
only
clan
one?
No. Okay, well, because the other one's a malediction, so they affect the enemy, right? So then we have
continue. Yeah.
Yes. The Crunch is a Witchfire. Value is 6. Select an enemy unit within 18. Roll a d6 for each model in that unit. On a 6, they suffer a mortal wound. If it was a 9 or more, you do it on 5s instead. I really like that against horrors is really good.
This is a great power.
Yeah, just if you have 20 admech things and you're rolling 20 dice and you roll a 9 or more, and then all of a sudden you're rolling, like, you're picking up and it's on 5s, they just all, like, instantly implode. Like, that's actually a really good, like, damage dealer. I like that one a lot. Jabbin' Fingers is a value of 6, enemy unit within 18 and visible. Until the start of the next psychic phase, -1 to hit. So just a -1 to hit on enemy unit that was visible within 18.
This is another case where I think we might need to read the description. The weird boy forces his attention on a nearby enemy before jabbing his fingers into his own eyes. The unfortunate foe experiences an agonizing pain before finding themselves temporarily blinded.
That's
just great. I love it.
He's doing the Three Stooges.
Yeah, like literally on himself.
So funny.
Yeah.
Good. An orc thing happens in an orc codex. Fantastic.
Warpath is the only clan lock power.
Yeah, it's horrible.
On Beast and Wog and the whole. Okay.
There you go.
Crazy.
Now you know. Okay, so keep that in mind. Then we have the Beast Head Discipline. These are all so the Beast Head people who can get from the Beast Head ones, or orcs. You've got the Roar of Mork malediction. Select an enemy unit within 18 invisible. Subtract 2 from advance and charge rolls made from this unit. And until the start of your next psychic phase, while an enemy unit's within 18 of the psyker, they also get -1 leadership. But I do like the -2 from advance and charge. I think that could, like, get you out of a pinch if if you play it well. Frazzle, warp charge value is 6, so roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 9 inches. On a 4+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. It's like a Nova. Okay, you have to be really
horrible.
close. Like, it's not bad, but you have to be really close. So it probably wouldn't come into play until like later in the game, which is kind of when you want it anyway, when stuff starts dying and like squads are depleted and stuff like that. Like you can just like do like, D3 mortal wounds potentially to everything around. But it's not only do you have to do
Well,
the psychic power, then you have to be with a 9, and then you have to roll a 4+, and then you have to roll a D3. So there's like lots of different stages that might not do like it might fail at any one of those stages for you, right? So something to keep in mind
okay,
as well.
you do have to remember though that these things are likely to be on a vehicle that can 3d6 charge and beat evil suns and move like
That's very
20
true.
inches. So you can just kamikaze a thing, across the board, turn 1 into the middle of everything. It's on an enormous knight-sized base, and then it does 2, because we're about to go through the next one, 2 aura of mortal wounds. So I think those 2 are the most reasonable, and this is sort of like a 9th edition thing of, because you can't choose your powers game to game, most of these are going to not be worth putting on your list. I think these 2 are, if you want to build I'm going to do burna bombs, I'm going to do stuff when I charge, I'm going to do these 2 psychic powers, and just making
Lots
mortal
of
wounds
mortal
part
wounds,
of
just
your...
like a big
Yeah,
mortal
yeah.
wound focus.
So you can you can focus your army, and that's what you need if you're gonna preset everything. You can't have a flexible army. You have to just pick a thing and double down and hope that it works out.
Makes sense.
So
Kill rigs are nasty. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to the kill rig. I like they're nasty. They are nasty. The whole like it auto hits or whatever if they just cast a power, like I was like, what? With like
that's
it's like
great.
what the heck is going on? Bite and Jaws is Witchfire. Warp charge value is 6. Select an enemy model with an 18 invisible. Draw a line between a part of the Psyker's base and any part of the selected model's base or hull, and every other enemy unit that it passes through suffers 1 mortal wound. So it's like a little line of mortal wounds, basically like pew, like 9 inches or 18 inches. Oh, it's 18 inches? Huh. That's actually not bad for 18 inches. Normally they're like really short, but that's actually really long for this type of power. So normally they're terrible because you have to be like 9 inches away. 18, you can actually get quite a few number of models like under a
And
big
again,
18-inch line.
from a knight-sized base, right? Of like drawing it anywhere, you can get, it gives you a lot of options.
It'd be
Yes,
like
it
it
does.
wouldn't be on one thing, but like you're netting like 6 or 7 mortal wounds, right? Like on 6 or 7
Yeah.
mortal wounds here, 6 or 7 mortal wounds here. Like that'll add up over the course of the game.
Yeah,
right?
so you do that, you do the burn bomber, you bomb something and then do the strat.
And
like
then
all of a sudden,
then you have
your
your
characters
crazy
are just
road
dying.
killer war trike come in doing 2d3 mortal wounds on the
Right,
charge and
just
like
charging
and then
stuff like
you fight him or whatever, and he does mortal wounds back to you or
and Squigs just picking characters and just doing mortal wounds to them.
Yep.
No, it's. I think that's a legitimate build.
Nice.
But it'll lose to stuff that just doesn't care about mortal wounds.
That is also true.
What can you do?
Spirit of Gork is a blessing. Value 6, select a friendly squig unit within 12 and visible. Until the start of your next psychic phase, they get 1 additional attack with the Big Chompa's Jaws, Squig Jaws, Smash Squig Jaws, or Squigosaur Jaws. I guess you could combine that with the +1 damage on the squigs and kind of do like a little thing there with that. Each time model makes an attack with the Squig Jaws on a unmodified wound roll of a 6, that attack inflicts a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. So just makes the squig better. Okay. Beast Scent. War charge value of 5. Select an enemy unit with an 18 of the Psyker. Until the start of the next psychic phase, that enemy unit does not receive the benefits of cover against attacks made by Beast Snagger units. So that's light and dense and heavy. Like it's all of the cover. It's just like they just don't get cover. Which could be useful in like close combat if anything were to get like heavy cover, for example.
Range on that?
What? Sorry, it is 18, and you
18,
don't have to be visible.
If it wasn't just Beast Snagger units, I could see it being good. But what am I gonna get my thump gun to ignore? Like
right.
Cool.
Yes, because you really want to slow them down, so you have to like
Yeah.
make sure that you do the power so that you're not -1 hit it, and then make them slow.
Exactly.
And then we got the Squiggly Curse. This one's fun. I like this one. War charge value of 7. So it's one of the tougher ones to do. Select an enemy unit within 12. Roll 1d6 for each model in that unit to a max of 6 dice. For each result of a 4+, that unit suffers a mortal wound, and if any models in that unit are destroyed by this psychic power, every other unit within 6 suffers 1 mortal wound. So it's like, you do a bunch of mortals to a unit, and then every other unit around, if you killed anything, takes mortals. So it's another form of just doing mortals and chipping away at like stuff. Make sense? We like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Yes, Liam, we did talk about the blood axes. You're late already. We already discussed all that stuff. We're now into relics. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 relics. Super cyborg body. 4 up invulnerable save on the model, and half the damage of any attacks going in.
So good.
It's
So
really
good.
good. Really, really good. Like that
was
makes
limited infantry only, right?
It is infantry
Infantry
model only. So
yeah.
like you can put out on a mega armored war boss or something and just make him really tough to take down.
Yeah.
Like tough as nails.
And that's one of the few that you can actually spread around and pick what it goes on.
Right.
Something to keep in mind for basically the rest of these is you have to it's an upgrade to a model. It's not like infantry. It's just like so
I guess you could give super cyborg body as well to like any character that's infantry, right? Like a
right. That's
like
what I mean.
Yeah,
you can give it. You have an option there. The rest of these you don't have options.
Right.
Right.
Makes sense. So then we have the head whoppers kill chopper. A model equipped with a beast chopper, big chopper, ooch chopper only, replaces it, and it has a following profile: 2 times strength, -3 AP, 2 damage. An unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound in addition to normal damage.
That ability is the only addition over the regular one, right, Rich?
Maybe an extra AP?
No, the AP is +1. And it doesn't do, it's not double strength. The other one's plus to your strength.
So this one's
so you're
twice strength, extra
strength
AP.
12 instead of 10, like or something. Yeah, okay.
Cool. So then you do some mortal wounds. Cool. The crushing armor. I actually really like the crushing armor, by the way. I think this one's really fun. So mega armor model only. So only mega armored war boss or the new crusher war boss, whatever his name is, like the one with the crazy like skulls on him or whatever. Like the one that's made out of squig armor. He's mega armor, isn't he?
He's not mega armor.
He's not mega armor? Then what does he have?
Yeah.
He has this thing where he charges you and like does mortal wounds to you when he charges because he's got like a big heavy gear or whatever it's called. What are they called, by the way?
I don't know what that is.
I think it's just the mega. I think it's just the mega armor.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just the mega armor was. But Beast Boss has this thing where he charges you, he can do mortal wounds to you, right?
Okay. I don't know that.
Oh no, never mind.
I'll be checking. You
never
go
mind.
ahead.
No. This is the crushy armor. I thought you could give it on to this guy, but it's not. You can give it to just the mega armor war boss. Cool.
It's just an upgrade for one type of
model.
unit. Yeah.
4 up invulnerable save again. Add 1 to armor saving throws, so it now becomes a 1-up save, which is actually really good.
It is.
And then you go after you charge, you select an enemy unit within 1 inch, and on 2+, it takes D3 mortal wounds. So just another way of doing mortal wounds in a different phase.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell it right now, Citan will hate playing against orcs.
That's my one game, by the way. Played against that. I killed 2 Catans when they just walked out, and I was like, okay.
So many different phases you're doing damage in. So many different phases. It's crazy.
That's right.
The Killer Claw. Power Claw only. It is a ×2 strength, -4 AP, 3 damage, and it lost its like reroll wounds or whatever it used to get, or something like that. It's just like a 3 damage power claw. AP4.
So what model has this now, Rich?
Power claws?
Just the war boss.
It's just war boss, right?
Well, I guess you could give it to Big Mech and Mega Armor. You could give it to...
No, because the Mega Armor, it has a different thing now, right? Or does it...
No, they have power claws. They have power claws.
Big Mech in Mega Armor. Custom Mega Blaster and a Power Claw.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So you have 2 options on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the Death Killer War Trike that has a Snagger Claw, right?
Yeah,
so that's, I think, different. So they have the Dead Shiny Shooter. Model equipped with a custom shooter only. It is a 18-inch DACA 1410.
What? This one's
5 -1. Strength 5 -1. 2 damage. It's like a super heavy bolter.
This is the one that if you put it on a character, you can go head hunting.
You could put that on a mech with a ballistic skill of 4. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's with 2 damage. That's pretty snazzy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like,
Like,
no,
that's
you'll kill guys. They'll die.
that's
If you
14 shots, 18-inch range. You'd be like, "Bruh, bruh, bruh."
yeah,
That's hilarious.
and you get and if if you have the Warlord trait, and you get within 12, you're like, yeah, I don't care about your stupid guys standing in front.
Oh, that's actually really funny. I like that a lot. Scorched Git Bones, Psycho model only. Can be taken by a Psycho
Psycho
vehicle model, which is cool. So you can give it to a kill rig or whatever they're called. Each time the bear attempts to
cannot.
manifest a witch firepower, so all the
Just witch firepower.
just witch fires, so just the damage dealing ones, add 1 to the psychic test. Each time a bear would lose a wound as a result of the suffering of perils, they get 4+ against perils. Oh yeah. So not what it
Didn't
used
even
to do.
catch that the first time, Rich. That's just
The witch fire is so yeah, okay. It's great if you could just have that and it gives you +1, that would be great.
Which is what it
But
used to
witch
do.
fire only.
Why? Anyway. Beast Hide Mantle. Beast Snagger model only. Add 1 to its attacks characteristic and give it a 5+ ignore damage save. So another way to have a tanky character, which is kind of cool.
Yes.
I like that. Yeah. Okay, so that's the relics. I think the defensive ones are definitely cool. I like the cyborg body, I like the crusher armor, and the beast hide mantle. I think are like the big main ones that I really enjoy. Of course, relics wise, I'm a huge fan of the Freebooters 6-inch aura of take away obsec relic. I think that one is that can be so game winning in just so many situations. But which are your favorite relics?
The Killy Claw.
really.
You like this?
You have so few ways to do 3 damage.
Oh yeah, I guess that's
And
fair.
it's not -1 to hit either.
Yeah.
It's just it
And
doesn't have the -1 and it's AP 4.
And you put that on the guy who gets competitive edge. That's a missile.
Right. So still
Yeah.
a really killy guy to go in and be like, you're gonna die. Like I'm gonna do damage to you. Whether you're a Terminator, whether you're whatever it is, I'm just gonna go in and do damage. Yeah, I like it. Then we got the chapter approvals. So your secondary objectives. Orcs got 4. So no mercy, purge the enemy, shadow operations, and battlefield supremacy. Stomp 'em good. So end of the battle round scoring. If the number of enemy units destroyed by melee attacks made by orc units from your army is more than the number of friendly non-Gretchen units that were destroyed by melee attacks during this battle round. So if you kill more stuff in combat than your opponent does, you get 3 points.
I'm glad they at least removed the Gretchen from this, because that would have just been
Nobody
the
cares.
Gretchen also die.
Nobody cares about the Gretchen. Score 1 additional point at the end of each battle round if the number of enemy units destroyed by melee attacks made by orcs is at least 2 and double or more than what they killed. So you could get 4 points in a turn. It feels like if you're a combat orc, you should be killing more stuff in combat
right?
than they kill of you.
What's that?
Sorry?
You took this one, right, Rich?
I've tried it.
One of the games I watched.
It's interesting because you say you kill it down to 1 unit and then he dies to morale. You didn't kill it in the fight in melee.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good, but
I find that with the Dark Eldar one of killing stuff in combat, I've had so many times where I get them down to 1 or 2 models and they're run. I'm like, 3 points just disappeared, or they they just anyway. Yeah.
And I feel like you're likely as well to just blow up 9 units in a turn and then be like, ugh.
And then have a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
makes sense.
And getting it turn 1 is it's doable, but it's not easy.
Right.
Well, you don't even need to do a turn 1. That's one of the advantages, though.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Purge the enemy, the biggest and the best. If you select the secondary, you score 3 points at the end of each battle round for each of the following. Done by your Orc Warlord for a maximum of 5. An enemy monster vehicle was destroyed as a melee attack done by this Warlord. An enemy character was destroyed as a result of a melee attack made by this Warlord. 5 or more enemy models were destroyed as a result of attacks made by this Warlord.
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
So
it's too hard. It's too hard for a good player can just play around that.
Yeah.
And it's one model that a lot of this stuff hinges on. There's so much stuff that
Yeah.
can just like nuke your one character. Like,
Yeah.
and then
They
it's like,
focus on that guy
Yeah.
and you're down 15 points.
Yeah.
The
there's
only
nothing
one
you
I
can come
can
back.
way I can think of doing this somewhat reliably is having that mech with the relic gun, and just saying, okay, I'm gonna shoot whatever little trash unit you put out with this guy and make sure that he kills it. I'll get
I
my
think
3 a turn.
It's
I
in
think it's
melee.
melee. It's melee
Oh
only.
no. 5 or more models is as a result of attacks. So you could
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you
you
could
can-
like
so you get
shoot a
that
bunch of
one.
people and then like shoot a bunch of guys and then charge in
Okay.
and kill something and then get points,
Yeah,
right?
and you're in mega armor. You have a power claw. You could charge in, like.
Yeah.
Now I will say though, the fact that it's end of the battle round does mean that like if you don't go second, it's really hard to like gauge like, because then your opponent can be like, well no, this one less so, but I mean, but then you've kind of committed your warlord to like a spot or whatever, and then your opponent can like anyway.
Yeah.
So
He played the time I took it. He played around it really well and kept me from scoring much on it.
yeah, makes sense. Shadow operations, get the good bits. Select the second objective, then after both sides have finished deploying, starting with the opponent, you alternate selecting objective markers not within the deployment zones to be good bits objective markers. 3 objective markers have to be selected, and you can do an action. An Orc core unit can start the action, and you can't do it if there's enemy units within range of the objective, and you have to defend the objectives. You have to be there the whole battle round, and you get 3 points for getting the good bits. So it's a max of 9 points. No. You can do it on anyone, right? Yeah. So you can get
it. Good on all 3. Like you can do it on.
Yeah, you can do it on all of them, and you can do it multiple times in a turn. So like you can get like full turn, but you have to defend the objectives. You have to be there the whole time, which I think can be tough. And you can't start if there's any enemy units within range, which means a savvy opponent will just be like little model, little model, little model. You can't start any of your secondaries. Little model, and then and it's very hard to control it in that sort of environment.
This seems not good.
Yeah, okay. Anything that gives your opponent agency.
Moving on.
Anything that gives your opponent agency to like stop you from scoring tends to be something that's hard to do, right?
Especially if something that they'll probably be doing anyway. Like...
Right. Trying to contest your objectives, right?
Yep.
Yeah, in quarters.
Battlefield supremacy, green tide. At the start of the battle, divide the battlefield into 4 even quarters. How? What shape are these quarters? I'm assuming it's like quarters. It's like the normal table quarters.
It's quarters, everybody. It's quarters.
I like the lawn mowing comment. That was my favorite.
Yeah, the lawnmower, the long ones like this.
You have like 4 units in the back of your deployment zone, all like. I mean, you don't even need straight lines. You could just draw squiggles and then literally
just
have a little circle.
Yeah,
go to like
circle of...
pull a like a program up and like divide the table into quarters like evenly, like and just have like little templates that you can put out and be like, okay, so for this table I'm gonna use this one. It's quarters. They're all the same amount of land mass.
It around terrain and stuff, so then you can. Yeah. No.
Rich is like, no, get out of here.
No.
Yeah.
You know people out there are thinking it. You know they're thinking it. They're like,
of course they are, and they're wrong.
Yeah, it is definitely wrong.
Well, and then the other part that's problematic with this is you have to have units of over 11, and you do not want multiple big units in this army.
No, definitely.
Like, where are you gonna So if you're having over 11, you probably want 20 or 30. So that's just 80. Like to just score, and that seems.
Yeah.
Well, Steven, there's your 60 grots. There you go.
There you go. You can do it, buddy. Just make sure one of them.
Like 500 points of grots if you want 60 of them. It's
just make sure one of them is covered in poop, and then you're good. And you're like, that's the grots you want holding your objectives. Mosh Gridlock says potato webcams for the win. That's right. It's all about the audio. Okay, listen to the amazing nuggets of information that you're getting out of here. So,
I mean,
if you're liking it, leave a like and leave a comment. Yeah. Okay. That's about. So basically, you get. It's like a weird engagement fronts. Meh. You know what I mean? Like strobe light. Now you're gonna give everybody
I think we'll call this
Like-
my 10-minute warning, Skari.
10-minute warning.
Got work tomorrow.
I love it. No, yeah, we got the. We'll get through this in 10 minutes, right? It'll be fun.
Scar, do you want him to just go over maybe a couple of army ideas before we go on to the data sheets?
Yeah, we can quickly go through that.
Because Steven has to go.
Yeah, I need to take a shower before I go to bed. I'm
Yeah, that's
sweating
cool.
So much in this thing.
You just have to keep your webcam on, so that it
Sure.
doesn't mess up all of my web stuff, and then you can
Oh,
come back later.
I thought he was saying keep the webcam on while you're taking a shower. I was like, wait a minute, I'm out.
Now, in terms of, so we'll power through this, okay? We'll power through this in 10
Sure.
minutes. Okay. So Gazgul Thraka, anything to say about him that changed?
So
He's worse.
I looked through the lists for Flying Monkey, and I divided them into 2 categories. Hell yeah, Gaz, and I need more fast attack slots. So I feel like those are the 2 army. That's the dichotomy. It was just Gaz plus whatever cool stuff they like in the army, and then just fast attack
like
slots.
it.
So I think that's the answer right there. Is if,
I like Gaz.
he's
He's
cool.
pretty cool. Makari,
Yeah, he's cool. I don't know.
big
whatever.
mech with a custom force field.
I don't know. What do you think, Rich?
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's not what it
I think
was.
I'll go without. I think most games. Just
Yeah.
for
I do too.
convenience.
I will too.
Big
Yeah.
mech with a shock attack gun.
Don't just don't ask me these questions. I'll
No,
be too
they
sad.
nerfed it too hard. They triple nerfed it, and they still not good enough.
So many
People's
people got bad
elbow.
touched by the old one. A war boss, just a straight up war boss.
I love it.
I don't
Gee.
know. I think I'll probably end up mega armor most of the time.
War boss in mega armor with a
I love
with
that.
a freaking pintle mounted stubber thing, which is awesome.
Yeah, and again, +1 to hit. Freebooterz.
And a free 5-up invulnerable save. What?
Yeah.
Now, in terms of war bosses and stuff, they have the ability now where it's just +1 to hit in close
so
combat.
they're all hitting on 2s with their stuff. So
Yeah.
that's another reason why I don't think the Dakilla Claw is as important, because you don't care about the minus.
Yeah, okay, makes
It's the
sense.
damage. To me, it's the damage.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
A weird boy.
Situationally,
I will. Yeah. See, that's the problem though, and you can't choose the situation you're about to play in. So
I love
Not as-
fists.
They're not as much of a
Yeah.
toolkit as they used to be. And
Yeah.
they have the war energy, so 20 more orcs. But then again, I feel like you're not really gonna run hordes with this book. Like I feel like it's like you're gonna see hordes because people
think you
still run
can.
them. But like
yeah,
you're not gonna then like I don't know, they're not the same as they were. Let's go
The
with that.
jumping 3 squig hogs for 75 points, and they're nasty. And
yeah.
I mean, they throw their D3 mortals and then they charge in. They need a 9, but if they hit, they're gonna hit hard.
And then they can stop
like
you
the
from
bikes
they
as
can
well.
stop you from running from close combat and stuff and like hold you and
Only
things
the
like that.
boys can do that. Only
Oh,
the boys
the
can do that.
Snagger boys. The
Yeah.
Squig Riders don't have. Okay. Big mech
Yeah.
in mega armor.
He's the only one I think that can really use the custom relic. So I actually have him, but he just drives around. And then
Well,
you can give him the KFF.
Well, and you could give him the D3 +1 shots on his gun, on his custom Mega Blasta. That's not horrible. So he's got
Yeah.
4 las cannon shots at ballistic skill 4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the custom Mega Blast is pretty cool, and of course he can have the custom force field as well. Then we've got Boss Snickrot, who is a blood axe.
Yeah, if I love them. I have the model. I played with it at the first major I won. And I really like it, but I don't think I want to play Blood Axe. So sorry, Snickrot.
Yeah, I guess we went over the blood axes earlier. Then we have Boss Sagstruck, who makes the Goff Storm Boys fearless. No, they changed it to halving the number of units that flee. Okay, for combat attrition, and you can deep strike him. So he's
Well,
not.
his claw is also not limited to 3 swings anymore. So he hits like a truck. He's
6
basically
attacks.
a jumping war boss.
Yeah, 6 attacks
Yeah,
with a
jumping-
-3, 2 damage, vulture claws. That's cool actually, and he's got
That's
missiles
strength
too.
8.
What's
So
that?
He's got
That's strength
missiles
8.
as well, and
Yeah,
he's strength
yeah,
8.
he's pretty good.
And then exploding 6s to hit in combat, right? because he's a
yeah.
Goff, and when he charges, he'll be strength 9, right?
Yeah. Importantly, he has a good clan. That's really
Yeah.
what makes these characters.
Yeah, I guess he's pretty cool. He's pretty beefy. I like him. Then we got the Def Killer War Track. I feel like we're going to see a lot of those.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And so important to mention that this is how you get you choose your wog. We kind of had to skip over that, but this is how you make your army into a speed wog.
Yep.
Which is what I'm gonna do because I want to play with trucks. It was the
Where's
first
the
army I
war
ever
stuff?
played.
How
So,
did we skip the war stuff?
yeah, I mean it's
Oh, it's right
straightforward.
here. Yeah. So you have two
yeah.
different kinds of war: the regular war and the speed war, and it depends on
Yeah.
if you have a speed boss or war boss keyword, right?
Yep.
And
then
then
Gaz calls both.
and he has both because he's the Great War.
Yeah.
And they're really cool. So
So-
you get so one's for attacks in combat, and one's for shooting, basically.
Yeah.
I like it.
So I like the shooting one because I'm gonna have a bunch of shooty orcs, and
Mhm.
so it only benefits vehicles, but it depends on what your definition, I guess, of a modifier is. +1 to the weapon shot and +1 AP. I think that's a modifier by the main rulebook, but I've had people argue otherwise. So then all your shooter boys inside are AP1 and getting an extra shot, so they just vomit bullets, which is a pretty cool. I've had fun with that with this army.
I like it. Def Killer War Truck, I like it a lot. Plus big base too, and it's just cool. He's just cool. And he moves 14 already. He's just super fast. Captain
And
Badruck.
advances in line.
He's a freebooter, and he gives flash kits reroll ones to hit.
Yeah,
And
so
he's just-
he changed because now it's not just in shooting, which is cool.
Mhm.
Oh, that is
but
cool.
He so I ran him a bunch in 8th with my flash kit army. The big change, which makes him a lot worse in my opinion, is his and same with the flash kits, is their ammo runt ability is now once per game, and before it was every time they shoot.
Mhm.
So he used to have a reroll 1 hitting on 3s and then a free reroll. So you were just and then 6s explode. So you were always getting a ton of hits with him, and now you just don't.
Right.
And it's heavy, and so I don't think you're gonna see him very much. I want to make the flash kits work. I'm probably gonna try it again at some point, but
At some point.
it's tough because you still want them in the vehicle, right? And he can't help them when they're in the vehicle.
Right.
Before I always walked them around and grot shielded them, like a codex would work. And so now I can't do that, so I have to drive around. So I don't think he'll be included.
At least they're not heavy now.
No,
They're
heavy.
DACA. Oh, I thought they were DACA.
No, they're all heavy.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, we'll get to them in a second.
It's
Zod
the hard life.
Zodgrod Wart Snagger.
I don't get him.
No.
He can make somebody
New
fight
model.
last if it's a monster.
New model. It's for
He's
grot.
the buggies of this edition.
Yeah,
The
no.
Beast Boss.
He's good.
I think he'll be outshone by his
Mega Armored
squig
War Boss?
riding,
Or
by
okay.
his squig riding compatriot.
Oh, yes.
Beast
that
Boss
guy.
on Squigosaur.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
he's a
So
monster.
good.
9 wounds, 5 attacks, 5 up invul,
Toughness 7.
-1 damage base.
That's just
Yeah.
T7
So good.
-1 damage base. Then you can half damage and you divide before you subtract. Is that right? No, you subtract and then divide.
No, you do. It moved to PEMDAS now, so it's.
I'm not
divide
sure you can
first.
put both of those on there, can you?
Oh no, you can't. He's not infantry. Never mind. You can't
Yeah.
do the yeah.
But you can give him the
-1 to wound, right?
Yeah, the
And
-1 to wound on a toughness 7 guy. That's
and then
tough.
5++ as well.
gross.
You
Yeah.
can have -1 to wound and give him a 5 up, feel no pain.
Feel no
And
pain. Yeah.
He's like then he's tougher than most units you can buy. So you don't
Yeah.
even care. I feel like that's a case where he'll wander away from a unit, and your opponent's gonna be like, "Aha, a character! I've got him!" And you're like, "He was actually in less danger before." Like
Now
So-
he's gonna just no, I love it. He's like I like the Squigosaur guy. I think he's pretty cool. And you've got lots of 3 damage weapons on there that can be 4 damage, and there's lots
Yeah.
of damage coming out of
Yeah.
that guy. Pain Boss.
I will say
Hmm?
I don't love how the squigs work with a bunch of mortals just on 6s. It makes it like it makes it so that you need to have so many of them so that it's reliable enough to actually count on. And like I don't don't think it's good for me or my opponent to just walk up and be like, I can do anywhere from 0 and 16 mortal wounds right now.
Well, Steven, you just need to believe, and you'll roll 6s.
Yep. Roll 6s. We went over this before, okay? We went over it. Roll 6s.
I said just know when to roll 6s. This is a case of if you know when to roll a 6, it's a strong book. It's
amazing.
Really.
So
if you could just have miracle dice in this book, oh my god,
that'd be great. Pain Boss. Now it's a 3-inch. Within 3 inches, 6-up feel pain for everybody.
Yeah, and you can heal that boss.
You can heal clan stuff, so it has to be clan. It is clan locked, but yeah, you can just heal stuff.
I think so many armies are going to be vehicle heavy that I don't think you'll see them very often.
If you're running vehicle heavy, you're right. But if you're running more of a fighty Wa, then I think you might see him.
Because he can run up and heal characters, and it's at the end of the movement phase, so you can run up to a character and
your weird boys aren't killing themselves constantly, so it's less important.
That's true.
That used to be basically his job, because otherwise you guys would all die.
They would just their heads would explode. Weird boy. He's like a beast snagger.
If you're gonna take that, you want it in the kill rig.
If
you're gonna take a weird boy, you want him in the kill rig.
I'm with Rich.
So special character Mozrog Skargbad.
Very good. Very good.
4+ invul, -1 damage, +1 to hit to snaggers around him, and he's a snake bite.
Again, T7 and 9 wounds.
T7, 9 wounds. Okay, so and then he's got access to the transhuman physiology, right?
And he comes back if you kill him. He comes back on a 4+.
Hilarious.
Really?
Yeah.
Really is that funny. His warlord trait, or is that?
That's his warlord. That's his warlord trait.
That's a warlord trait. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. And he's got a 3. He has a 3 damage -2 melee weapon.
That's a 3 damage weapon. Yep.
Yeah. And the big chomp claws are also big as well.
They're 4 damage.
Yeah. An unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 4 mortal wounds instead of the normal damage.
Yep.
So many mortal wounds.
See, that's fine. It's just I don't know. I don't love that.
It's crazy
mechanic.
Gretchen.
I wish it was like 2 on a 4+ or something like that, or 1, 1 and 3. Like, yeah.
Gretchen.
Anyway, Gretchen. Don't even just
Gretchen?
Boys.
Gretchen. Poop covered Gretchen.
No.
Boys. Toughness 5 boys.
I still like them.
Yeah, when what I noticed was when I was playing. So I'm playing only truck boys here, so I'm gonna be very focused on that. Was when my trucks died and they got dumped out, I was playing against Dark Reapers, and instead of the Tempest Launcher just killing everything like it normally does, it killed like 1, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty nice actually. I like this,
especially into those matchups that it matters, right?
Yeah. It's noticeable. But there's a lot less you can do with boys, like strat-wise and stuff, than before.
That's
They're
true.
just kind of there, but they're better, so good for us, right? Like it's
yeah. That's I like shooter boys a lot. Beast snaggers.
I like them.
They can be Goff too, so you can make them up to strength 6 and stuff. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's a big number to hit. Against all this T3 nonsense.
Knob with a war banner.
This poor guy, man.
Nah.
He didn't change with the times.
Well, he does have his old model still as like part of the. That's an old metal model or fine cost.
He used to be good, but now our war bosses do that. So like, why would I ever pay for you? But he has a custom shooter if you want that.
The regular pain boy.
I'd take the pain. I'd take the pain boss. He's only 10 points more, and if you're gonna run a Squigosaur, I'd take it because he can heal the Squigosaur.
Oh,
not just infantry or biker. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Mad Doc Grotznik.
No.
This is so sad. He was my favorite character. I know that's not what they intended, since it eventually got FAQ'd, but the fact that he had to charge in everyone's assault phase was one of the funniest things, because you just put him on an objective and he would sit there and like, all right, let's do this, like, and would just charge stuff. So the fact that he doesn't do that now.
There's a miss there lore-wise. He's the guy who fixes Gazgul. That's his whole thing.
Yeah, you're
He
right.
should be able to heal Gazgul. That would make him, oh, there's a cool character.
Yeah.
So now I have to take him, and he could heal Gazgul. That would be cool, but
Nope.
yeah, they
Not
didn't do it.
today.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Runterd. Want to talk about Grots
Oh
again?
my, no,
No? Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Burna Boys.
Yeah,
We kind of talked about that. I think how they'll be used is to make an anti-melee
Yeah.
monster, like
Yeah.
just show up and just vomit mortal wounds all over something,
Yeah,
and
makes
then
sense.
immediately die because they have t-shirts.
The
on.
mech.
Yep.
Just a mech.
yes.
Rando mech.
A Death Skull mech with OBSEC and a las
I
cannon
know.
pistol for
Ah.
25 points. That's a
It's a
bargain.
D3
Yeah.
last cannon pistol.
Yeah, blast.
They just drive around and just like have a blast.
25
literally.
points for that?
There you go.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
actually
good.
really
It's a
good.
good little action monkey for
Yep.
Race of Banners as well.
Yep.
Nice. And he can repair vehicles. Tank Busters. Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
I don't know. What do you think, Rich?
I can see maybe running 5-man units with 2 bomb squigs. Just little cheap units that can fling mortal wounds around.
Is it cheap though?
No, but you
what,
put 'em-
100 points?
Put them in a truck and
Yeah.
they drive forward and they throw out 2d3 mortal wounds 12 inches away. You can
Yeah.
snipe characters like that.
Well,
Yeah,
the problem is if they could dump them all at once, then
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's 1d3, and then
Yeah.
you're in a truck with no invol, and it's,
And
it's
then
a
it
200 point
dies.
unit.
I don't foresee me bringing them, but some people will.
I think
like it.
there's so much more efficient rocket carriers now that
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see them.
Like Def Coptus. Go ahead.
Commandos.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they're
good. So
amazing.
good.
Yeah.
They're so good.
How many do you take?
I have 15 in my list right now, three 5s, but I can see taking a 10 or multiple 10s.
Which upgrade do you like taking?
There's
Bomb
so
squig.
many options.
Bomb squig?
Part of me wants to actually make a unit of 10 where it's like, yeah, I've got a power claw, a big shooter, a breacher ram, a shotgun pistol, a burner, a custom shooter, a rocket launcher, a bomb splitting distraction rod. Okay, yeah, that's
I
my
got
unit. Like my 4th edition knob on bikers. Like everyone's got something.
I love it.
Um,
You can have
the
10
models
with a
that-
bomb squig.
those
for
are
10
some of the
models.
coolest. Those are some of the coolest new models of all the new models. I love those. They're
So
beautiful.
cool. I
although
know.
I
I
didn't
can't
know
wait
they had
to
new ones. Oh, that's exciting.
can't wait to
Oh,
open my Kill Team box and find out what
They're
they
in
look
Kill
like.
Team.
They're
Yeah.
in Kill Team. I'll have to-
Octaris. Kill Team Octaris.
I'm like, I don't play Kill Team, so I never looked there.
Meganobs. Meganobs.
I think you can put them in lists. I don't
I
think
think
there'll be an
I like
auto-include
Death
anywhere,
Skull.
though.
I like Death Skull Meganobs because they're obsec and they go around and they're like, we're on this objective. It's our objective now. Okay, knobs, just regular knobs.
I'll see them in lists.
I
You
don't
will?
think so.
Yeah, you'll see them. You'll see them.
I think we might disagree there. I think there's better ways to do practically everything that they would do with other units. I guess they're all rounders, but this comes to the point of just pick a unit that does the specialty thing better.
Makes sense.
Well, and the 3-point big choppa is where they become more playable.
They're
2
like
damage.
what, 20
just straight up
apiece?
2 damage plus 2 strength. So strength 7 minus 1, 2 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so like a combat-y, like assassin unit. Shock
Well,
jump.
we've so many 2 damage things running around already with the characters. You know, that's the part. I looked at them with like putting them all with rockets and being like, I have a rocket punchy unit and like almost like tank busters. But then
Too
they're like,
expensive.
they're so expensive. Oh my god, yeah. So
Shock jump dragsters.
No.
Not anymore.
No.
Okay. Boomdaka snazwagons.
I guess I don't know how good -1 to hit is in the meta. But I could see
good,
if
it's decent.
-1. If -1 all of a sudden gets better, like guard become the best unit, and they, then like okay, I could see maybe them getting better. Especially if you combine it with a bunch of like the.
It's another
the
2 damage thing. -2, strength 5, 2 damage. Daka 14, 10. Right, so within 15. It's just like
Got a lot of shots.
Just a lot of shots. Then we got the Warbikers, which I think are a great unit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So good.
Yeah.
DACA
We're gonna see them
5/3,
a
2
lot.
of those guns each, 3 wounds each, an innate -1 to be hit. They just auto advance 6, so they move 20 with an advance. And they have like a decent amount of attacks and everything. They're just like
The
everything that
4
you
wound
want.
knob. It's
4
just
wound
so
knob.
Well, and
It's good.
the ability they have to move block, like especially if you take Evil Sons, they can go like 40 inches and create a big long line and block a 2-foot section of the table.
Pin people into their
Yeah.
zone. You're not scoring any points right now. Just like
Yeah.
you staying in your zone. Yeah, that's pretty. That's it's incredible.
And they auto advance 6, so it's
Yep.
reliable at doing that. And the base they're on is enormous.
Yeah.
Well, and
so-
Evil Sons, they're moving 23
they're just
inches,
wherever they
22,
want.
22.
and then they get +1 on the advance.
And they get
Advance,
+2 to
advance.
their
They get
movement.
+1 to the advance roll. They don't roll. They just auto move 6.
Really? Is that?
I don't know. Well, whatever, 22, 23, but then they get to move again if you're Evil Sons. So they're
Yeah.
going 40,
Yeah, yeah.
44
So
inches.
they go. Yeah, it's a double move for 1 CP.
You can
And they don't
drive
even need to
behind the
shoot for
enemy.
that. They just go like
Yeah.
move, right? I like Warbikers
Well, they get to
a
shoot.
lot.
They get to
They,
shoot.
they can still shoot.
I know they can,
They
but
can
I'm
still
saying
shoot,
you
yeah.
don't need to shoot to use the strap.
Correct.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
like
Right,
you can
right,
not
right.
shoot and then make a normal. They can make a normal move, I believe. So they can't advance, but they move another 16 inches. or whatever.
correct. Yeah, you're right.
Custom booster blasters. So the rivet
I-
cannon, 9 shots,
if they-
strength 7, -2 damage.
If they just had the Burnas 12 inches like they are on the Commandos, I could see it. But you're not going to want to pay 80 points for the rivet cannon, and it doesn't really do anything very interesting.
Right.
If
It's just a
you have an
shots.
all-out assault vehicle army, you could play them because they have the spiked rams. But
Yeah. Another fast attack, a knob on a smasher squig.
Love it.
yeah, Rich is all about that.
They do mortal wounds when they charge. They can kill something and then charge again. They have decent amount of multiple damage attacks. And they can be put into fast attack slots without having to take up a slot if there's Squid Hog Boy units in the detachment. That's cool. I like that. And then, of
Yep.
course, the one, the only T-shirt cannon, rocket truck squig buggy.
Yeah,
They're really
you're gonna
good.
see that thing a lot.
You're
Oh,
going to see it a lot.
so good. They are so good.
I think people are
so good.
over-indexing on them, though. Personally, I saw several lists with like 4 and 5 of them. I
No,
think there's so many
3.
other things that
Yeah,
have...
3 with nitro squigs, right? Like you just take the 3 nitro
think 2.
squigs, or 2.
You
2
can
or
only
3.
take nitrous. You can only take nitrous squig on 1, but
1.
that's
Okay.
fine.
Well, 1 with
Yeah.
nitro squig, and then like 1, maybe 2
Yeah.
more. Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, maybe 1 double squad and then 1 single squad with like a nitro squig or something. I like it.
Yeah,
I like them a
there's
lot.
so many other things that do more damage. The out of line of sight is nice,
It's
obviously.
good, really good in the
but-
current meta. It's fantastic. Like
Yeah.
it's actually really, really good.
They're also good at protecting backfield objectives and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
zoning out because of the giant bases.
36
too.
inches is so far now. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not used to that.
Megatrack scrap jets.
These guys are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
For raw output, it's hard to argue with them. They basically have almost as many rockets per point as Coptas, which are
Mhm.
pretty effective, and then they also shoot 60 shots. So if you're
They have 6
yeah,
twin
there's
big
60
shooters.
well, so if you
No,
if you
2
have a
twin
unit of
big
6
shooters. Oh,
you
a
have a unit of
unit
6
of. Okay.
Coptas,
Okay. Makes
a
sense.
6 Coptas is equivalent to 3 of these scrap
Right.
jets.
I get it.
So the 6 Coptas are shooting 12 rockets. The Megatrax are shooting 24 rockets. And then the Megatrax are going to shoot 18
up to 27.
Right. Well, I'm giving average for both
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
18 plus 3 of the nose drill things, and then they're also going to shoot 60 big shooters.
crazy.
So they're dirty, and you can charge them from reserve, and they'll do mortal wounds when they hit.
Yeah,
So that's how I've been using them.
that's cool. Storm Boys.
Very good.
An auto include, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think
Action
you'll see a list of
monkeys, little 5-man units go
They're
around,
small
take
units,
objectives. Yeah, little
Yeah.
small units. They're good for like scoring points. You need stuff to score points. They're excellent for that, and they're infantry, and they move fast. Squig Hog
Yeah.
boys.
I like them.
They're tough.
I think you'll need to build around them. I don't think you just add them to an army like you do commandos or storm boys.
They can also have bomb squigs.
Yep, that's one of the things. I also like that because I'm running the faster than used, I can advance one unit and charge, and they move fast. So they could get out there from my deployment zone and get into somebody turn 1, then do it with another unit on turn 2, and then I'm hitting them with my whole army, hopefully.
Yeah, they're like a good pin, like a distraction unit that does damage, tough to kill. Yeah, and then you kind of come
cheap.
in with
They're 80 points.
Nice. Def Copters.
Love them.
I think they're cool. I don't think you want to run units of 6 though, because they have really low leadership.
I want 3.
You want 3, right? Like you don't run more than that.
Yep. I think you could run 6 if you were doing them as evil sons, and then you just fire and fade them every turn.
Yep.
I think that's how you would run 6. But yeah, if you're going to be putting them in any kind of danger, then yeah, I don't think you do.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that you have to switch out the for the bomb. You have to take the custom mega. So
yeah,
that's a big loss. I don't think you'll see the bombs very much because also it's tough to pass over things. It's really not worth it. Like if you could take 2 bombs and like drop them both, and then they had a bigger area, then I could see evil sons and going nuts with all of the other like mortal wound shenanigans. But I don't think you'll see them.
Yeah, I like that. Mech guns.
I'm just tired of playing them. That's been. I just,
if you see them, you'll see like little units that sit in the back. But are they? You can still take units of 1 of those, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. 1 to 3. Yeah, so you can still have multiples of just like ones and just zone out the backboard and just take like if you want to use it for freebooters to like try and kill something with it so that you get like I like the custom mega cannon. I think it's great.
What'd you say, Steven?
I think people are just over them.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I know that's mostly me. Is I just like, okay, they're not like hugely better than everything else, so I'll have to take them. So I'll go explore some other things. Maybe
I feel bad. I feel bad for the people with 18 smashy guns. No, I don't.
No, you don't. You shouldn't have bought them in the first place.
Dude, my 13 smasher guns, you don't like? I converted those, thank you very much, out of truck and Wazbomb kits.
That's every orc. At least they're not crystals. I'm looking at you.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Battle wagon.
I like it still.
Yeah. Is it still?
If you're gonna run if you're gonna run a big unit, you're gonna run a battle wagon, in my opinion.
Bone breaker.
I think you'll use another one.
Yep.
Yeah,
especially with the 5-up invul. Take the battle wagon, give it a 5-up invul. Bone breaker.
No.
Yeah, the shooty battle wagon, the gun wagon.
No.
There's other stuff that shoots better.
The boomer would need to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killer cants.
No.
I think that there's always orc players that's what they do, and I think they'll be.
You're right.
With this codex.
I don't think I don't think any of the stuff that we're talking about is terrible. I think it's like there's ways that you could fit it into your list. They just haven't really changed from what they did before. Like they just do about the same thing as they did before.
Because like a Killican is basically just a Mega Knob with a few different stats.
Yeah.
So you could run a bunch of Mega Knobs, you could run a bunch of Killicans. I think they'll work pretty similar.
Looters.
You can build a list. You can build a list with them.
Yeah.
But I don't think general purpose. No.
You don't start the list with them.
Right.
Death Dreads. I like Death Dreads. I think they're great. Like distraction Carnifexes can be kitted out to do some cool stuff.
Yeah. Brad's been running the one to just like come in from reserve, which I don't hate. I've just prefer to spend the points on buggies though. I just think they're better at this point.
And they're basically the same points cost.
And then the 2 big ones, the Kill Rig.
Yes.
Kill Rig is awesome. It's a heavy support choice, Psyker, and the Weird Tower.
People are gonna hate this model.
Becomes D3 and it auto hits when it costs a power.
I'm gonna get a sculpt.
It's so good.
I'm gonna come up with a different model. The model I don't like, but
It's
No,
like
I don't
crazy.
mean the look. I think they're gonna hate playing against it.
Oh
and
yeah, I don't like
think
the
it's,
look.
Yeah, I don't.
So if a vehicle, non-titanic or monster model loses any wounds on a 4+, it cannot finish any type of move more than 12 from your model with it snagged from the
harpoon cannon thing.
harpoon cannon or whatever, the sticker cannon, which means
Yeah,
you could like
I mean-
make aircraft just crash and burn if it can't move far enough, which is really
Yeah,
funny.
this has some capacity to make the game divide by 0, so I think they'll have to have some FAQs there.
There's also, it carries 10 models, B-Snag infantry models, like they hang off the
Yeah,
sides.
it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Why wouldn't you? And it moves 12 inches. Why wouldn't you run like 3 of these?
yeah.
Well, because they're
and-
190 points.
Yeah, okay. 2 of them then.
But think about it. It's a psyker. So
Yeah.
imagine if you just bought a battle wagon plus, a weird boy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's more than
Same,
190
it's more.
points.
Yeah, it's more.
Yeah. So
And it's got the auto hit las cannon. So
It's
I mean,
D3 hits when you cost a 1 psychic power. Like,
Yeah.
what is
Yeah.
this madness?
yeah,
absolutely
I think
ridiculous.
it's like the Megatrack Scrapjet, where if you break it down all the weapons to how much they would cost individually, you realize the base model is like really cheap. Like the Megatrack, if you reversed it, it would be a 20-point model that you bought weapons for.
Nuts.
So yeah.
and it's great in combat. It's great in combat.
It does everything. It
Kill
does
rig
mortal
is-
wound
is
shenanigans,
mainly-
it's a psyker,
yeah,
it's a transport, it's open top, so you can shoot the guys inside, so you can have a bunch of shooters inside shooting out. Like, there's like a whole bunch of stuff going on with this.
Yeah. I don't think you can put shooters inside, but
Oh, well, sorry.
Yeah, 'cause
They
it's
can shoot their
B-Snag.
pistols or whatever they're
Yeah,
armed with.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
Makes sense. So that, I think Kilbrig's going to see a lot. Flash kits.
I'm trying, but I think you're just gonna want to play other stuff.
Makes
Good
sense.
luck,
The fact
Steven.
that I know the fact that neither of the wogs benefit them is not good. That's
Makes sense.
that's a problem. Because they don't have. If they just had DACA guns, I think it'd be different.
Right.
They had DACA guns, I could make that work, you know. But I'll just have to remember the time they killed 70 orc boys in melee and shooting, and I played against Chris Haynes, and I'll just put their little trophy on the wall. They can enjoy that until another
like it.
edition.
Hunter rig.
This is like a worse kill rig.
It's the worst kill rig.
Take the
Yeah.
kill rig.
Take
Truck.
the kill rig.
Standard truck. Ramshackle's pretty
Love
cool.
it.
I
Love
love
it.
trucks.
Trucks.
Trucks are great.
I have 6. They were all.
I had a
going on
truck
the
hold
table.
up the Dawn Eagle jet bike captain, the Custodes captain for like 3 turns of combat with
This is not
Ramshackle.
strength 8.
Well, yeah, it's Ramshackle. He's just going,
I can only do
Yeah.
1 wound at a time.
The one thing I will say that I miss is I ran this at the end of 8th with Deathskulls, and you could buy the upgrade and let them have like 3 attacks, and then so with the Deathskull reroll of hit and wound and stuff, like your trucks were really solid. Like they actually could bully like little objective holder units. And the fact that now their upgrades are limited to just 1 attack is, I think, pretty lame.
Yeah.
I think that
They're
was
not like combat.
unnecessary nerf.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, why do you care this much? Like, kind of just
They carry
so.
and they carry 12 models, which is about the same as before. Burner bomber. Does mortal wounds to stuff.
no.
I think it's good, but it's gonna depend on meta. If the meta has a bunch of las cannons in it, it's not gonna be good. If it goes to more of a melee heavy and less of a long range or a lot of anti-infantry shooting, then yeah, I think all the planes will become playable. It's more of a meta question though.
Yeah, DACA jet. Thumbs up for
Very
the DACA
good.
jet for me.
Very
I love
good.
the DACA jet.
Yeah.
That thing is amazing. So
For the
Yeah.
points, it's amazing. Yeah.
Blitzer bomber.
Same as the Burna. I think it
Yeah.
depends on the meta.
Okay. And the Wasbomb blaster jet.
I think it's too expensive.
Yeah, I agree.
Like 230 points or
And
something.
it's force field. Its force field only works on planes.
Yeah,
But it is a 5-up.
that is
That's true.
That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the planes. Onto like one of the big changes. Morkonaut Gorgonaut went to Lord of War, as well as a Stomper.
Oh.
So what about the thoughts of them becoming Lords of War? Like, I feel like you're really not going to see them too much because of the fact that in order to take like a super heavy detachment, you're paying like 6 CP, or you're paying 1 CP for a super heavy auxiliary detachment, and then you don't get your clan abilities.
Fine, we don't have strats. I don't know why you're worried about these CP.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Would you take a 1 Stompa and like 2 Morkanauts or 3 Morkanauts or Gorkanaut list?
No.
I wouldn't either, but I can see people who will.
100%. Yeah.
You know, I
There's
like the
always gonna
Stompa
be an
personally. I
orc
think the
player.
Stompa's cool.
I saw one on the. I saw someone playing like 2 Morkanauts or 3 and like Gazgul. Like,
Yeah.
well, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll see them, but it won't be. It'll never be popular like 3 knights and a guard detachment kind
Yeah.
of.
Right.
List.
I'm a big fan, by the way, of the Gorkanaut's DACA 3020 gun. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Well,
30.
you used to be able to double shoot these, right? So they were
Yeah.
actually like, if you made them freebooter and got the proc and then double shot them, it was like, ow! Like actually, what hit me?
Yeah. Now they're knights, so they have 24 wounds too. So cool. The Stompa and then the Mech Boy Workshop. Are you ever going to see one?
Well, someone did ask about the Stompa, so I guess answer that a little bit. It dropped a ton of points.
Yeah.
Like
almost
like-
200.
Yeah, I thought it went from like 900 to 650 now.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that. It's like
it's a
300
lot.
points. Yeah.
It's substantial drop.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's gonna be the auto lose it was. But I do think that there's so many things right now that can kill vehicles, which is kind of my reservation with the planes as well, since you can't hide them. You just like have to be like, all right, we're going first, boys. Like, and I think Stomp is gonna be kind of similar, and I also think it's gonna struggle to like really bully the field. I think it's gonna get move blocked a lot. And,
Yeah, it can't move.
Especially on the tables that we have now, which are like really stuck with terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that base is enormous. I don't like. It's like trying to fight with literally like 2 knights like hugging. Like that's the size of its base. So
big.
yeah, it's. But I do love the fact that it does 9 damage with its big thing. That is just. I would love to just catch a whole gaggle of Dark Eldar skimmers there and just
one at a time. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And then the workshop, the Mech Boy Workshop. It gives you like some terrain, gives you some stuff.
I have 2 of them.
Customized things.
I don't.
Most
so.
like I don't know, like they're just terrain, like fortifications, and then you've got the Big Ed Boss Bunker.
I think that that workshop you could take 2 Nitro Squig rocket trucks.
If you took a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think if you take 1, it allows you to take 2 custom jobs, 2 of the same custom job.
Yeah.
So,
I
as
mean,
including your army,
custom jobs
each custom job can
enough.
be selected twice instead of once. How many points is the mech shop?
It's like 70 points or something. So
I mean, over the course of the game, you're talking 70 points to have an additional like 6 wounds.
yeah, it's
it's not.
Yeah, and it's not worth it. But I mean, it's fine.
If the custom jobs were just like amazing and like obviously really good, like if it was like you could take extra warlord traits and I'd just be handing out like -1 to wound to everyone, then like I would be considering it. But the custom jobs aren't that impressive. So
yeah.
Well, at least the action's a little better. Once per battle round at the end of your movement phase, select a mech or big mech within 1, select a vehicle that's not Titanic within 3, and it's complete at the end of your own turn. So at least your vehicle isn't useless, right? And then once completed, you select a custom job, and that vehicle just has that custom job for the game, and you don't buy it for points or anything like that. And then on a 1, it falls off the job that they did. So okay, I could see it being like it. Okay, it's not like terrible, but I mean, it's at least usable. Like it's not like completely unusable than it was.
If you're having a full like mech army and you just have like a mech just handing out like extra custom jobs, you're like, I'm gonna have 4 battle wagons and they're all gonna have some kind of
each one has to be different though. Each one has to be different. But yes, you can't. It's still makes sense. Okay, and then the big Ed Boss bunker has some guns, and it's like a big bunker thing that can carry.
I'm just gonna assume that dies. So I
Yeah,
didn't
it can
look at it
carry
too
10
carefully.
flash kits or Orcs infantry. Sure. And it's just like a
Cool.
big building. Like, okay, cool. So all in all, what is your thought process in the book? Good, bad, ugly? Like it as an orc?
Go ahead, Steven.
Um, I don't love how it plays. To be honest, it doesn't fit my playstyle very well. I don't think it's because it's bad. I think it's very competitive. Um, I just prefer a list or a book that relies on complexity and knowing a lot about your rules and knowing a lot about how it interacts. As opposed to this, where I feel like you look at the data sheet and then you can buy a relic and it makes your data sheet better in the things it was, but rarely changes how anything plays. I don't think you're going to see many, and I may eat my words here, but I don't think you're going to see many like real tricks coming out of this book. I think it's going to be a mid-table bully for people that don't know how to get the most out of their own codex, and then they're going to really struggle because the units are very statistically good. Like they're not statistically, their stats are good. They're strong. But that's it. It's just like one level just strong across the thing. There's no spikes from or not many spikes from combos. So
Yeah, that makes total sense. How about you, Rich?
I like it. The thing that I think that you're going to see is you're going to see variety. Like I can bring a list this to this major I'm doing tomorrow.
Totally.
The next one I could have a totally different list. And you're probably right, Stephen. They're not elite, but they're both going to be really good if you're a good player. And people can't. That's one thing I started to run into is people would start gaming towards what I was bringing.
Right.
I think they can't do that as much anymore if
'Cause
you're
you can
a pretty
switch
good
it up
player.
and change the meta and still get the same sort
you
of
can
effect.
switch up and get a very similar quality of army.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason though that you can do that, Rich, is because the whole codex is basically just T5 and T6 with like a 4 up and a 6 up. So like defensively, regardless of what you take, if they're ready to kill orcs, they're gonna kill whatever you take. I don't think there's gonna be a ton of like like think about like different kinds of Eldar, right? Like they showed up with a bunch of like Avengers instead of again, this is kind of more from 8th, but
Yep.
Wave Serpents versus Avengers, durability is wildly different. But I think with Orcs, it's going to be just all the, all the vehicles, all the troops, they all kind of died of the same thing.
Well, I see where I disagree is if you're not bringing strength 8 guns to kill the vehicles, your vehicles will be super durable.
Yeah,
because of Ramshackle. Ramshackle is amazing, and if you're bringing a heavy vehicle list, and then they're going, well, we're going to be bringing strength 8 weapons, and then the next week you come with more of a heavy infantry list, then they're going, oh, why did I bring all these las cannons?
Right. Yeah, you can kind of mix and match.
I mean, you can mix and match between, but then again, you're relying on like vehicles and everything else. It's I don't know. I
think
guess
there's going to be enough of a mix that you're going to have and I think it's really going to be that combo centric, and that's what I love about the book is that everything kind of pops out and go, oh, I can do this combo, that combo, or this waves like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, or pin you in your zone turn 1 and then rush you, or like sit back and shoot you. There's like lots of different options for you as well, right? I think that's really cool.
There'll be lots of way on the table to play it, but you're not going to be using like a relic, a warlord trait, and a stratagem and a psychic power all at once to make one unit strong.
Correct.
No, you're right.
Yeah, you're spreading out the love a little bit, right, and kind of doing it that way.
Okay, there's a relic here, there's a thing, which it's just a style thing. And I think it'll be strong, and I think it'll be good, and I think good players will do well with it. I think it'll be a very forgiving book for newer players though, because I think you just put stuff on the table and throw it at them, and if the other person just grabs stuff from their book and they don't make combos and you don't make combos, the orc player will win. So
I like it. Well, thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone, to this marathon, 3 hours and 15 minutes of orky goodness, which is exactly. Thank you so much, Rich, for coming on. Can anybody find you somewhere? Do you have like a blog, podcast, or anywhere where folks can hang out with you or hear you speak about amazing tactical stuffs?
No, I don't.
There you go. You
Yeah.
can see Rich's names just go up on the ITC track, right? Just find him and just watch
Top
him
orc right now,
get
right?
get close to the top.
I'm in the top 50 somewhere. So,
There you go.
yeah,
Number one orc.
Top orc.
Rawr, rawr, rawr. That's how it works. Whoa, as we say. And of course,
Yeah.
Mr. Pampreen, who skipped his shower and is all dirty like the little poop snotlings. Yeah. Thank
He's
you.
a horrible Steven.
Gosh.
Thank you very much for
Yeah.
tuning in. Thanks, Stephen. Really appreciate you for coming on. I know you've been in obscurity for the last year and a half because life, right? Life and stuff.
I had a little girl.
Congratulations.
She turned 8
She's
months.
adorable.
Not turned. She is 8 months. 2
She
days
turned.
Ago,
She morphed
Yeah.
into 8 months.
So been a little busy with that. So that's why we're fun, Steven. Until a later to be negotiated date.
Yeah, totally understand. As a parent, I totally understand. Other than that, I want to say thank you to everybody who hung out with us for the stream. Thanks so much. Why don't you leave a comment down below? Let us know what you think about the orcs. Do you agree? Do you disagree with these two great orc experts and one crazy, filthy, pointy-eared elf that doesn't know anything about greenskins whatsoever, other than they fight well in the arenas? Other than that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and a huge shout out to all the channel Patreons. Thank you so much. Without whom none of this would be possible. All the links, of course, down below in the description. Other than that, I've been Skari, your grateful host. This has been Rich Kilton, and this has been Stephen Pampreen. And we're signing off until next time. Oh, yeah. You want to finish it off with a war, everybody? Whoa! No? Oh, come on. Not even then? What kind of orc are you? Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.